Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast 358. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, alongside Johnny V.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Yeah, real good.
Good weekend?
I would say so. All around, yeah.
4th of July. We had a broadcast on Sunday, but other than that, a lot of people had off.
Yeah, I think overall it was good. I got a little vending in myself. Also, of course, had a really good time with the broadcast. Dynamite Dana Vici came up. We gave the exclusive Silver Series action. And then, to top it all off, we come here on Tuesday night, and we have the two champions from the Silver Series event this past weekend, of course, being Dan Schlitter and our very first guest tonight, Kristen Tatar. So, I don't know if it gets any better than this, coming in from Estonia via Croatia, and then Ogden, and then Illinois, and now in Iowa. Kristen Tatar, welcome.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining. Do you ever, I've talked to you quite a few times throughout the years, do you ever hesitate having interviews that are in English? Does that at all make you nervous in any way or no?
Usually I think I managed quite well, but of course there's some doubt. I can't really quite express myself the way I would do in Estonian, I guess, but I try my best.
Well, you've always been great, and we're super happy that you would join us tonight, or that you're here with us. Real side note, a quick side note to all of that. What do you think of the English language? I know that's a really generic question, but is our language crazy? Is it stupid?
No, it's not stupid. I think it's quite easy compared to Estonian. I think it's a lot harder to learn. I've grown up surrounded by English, everything on computer is English, and all the movies are in English. So it's quite easy to learn, I guess.
Whenever you're on the course, and usually Silver is caddying or you're talking to him, of course you're speaking in Estonian, right? Now,
yes,
it's not fun for us on the broadcast because we like to get our cameras in there to listen to the players, and it doesn't do us any good with you.
Are you ever saying something we shouldn't know or shouldn't hear?
I don't say any bad words, so
Okay.
So it's all cool. But sometimes, I get mad at myself, when I constantly miss putts, which I've been doing here for some reason. I don't know why. So I've been quite frustrated, but I'm also very determined, and I don't like to give up. So I just keep pushing. But sometimes I say something to myself in Estonian to motivate myself or something. I don't know.
Well, let's start there. We'll talk about a lot of good things, but when I saw you in Ogden, you mentioned that getting used to the time zones and, of course, all the flying and the traveling you did. Do you feel like all of that impacted your putting performance, and was it just your putting that you feel was off? Because, as you said, you didn't putt as well as we're used to seeing you putt.
Yeah, I also played 2 tournaments in Croatia, and my putting was so good, and I was even impressed myself. Circle 2 putts were falling in, and circle 1 was very, very good, and it felt great. But it only took 1 missed putt during the doubles game. I think you remember it, Terry. It was awful. So it was that 1 putt. It was I don't know, it was so close, maybe 5 meters. So I totally airballed it, and it just gave me, I just got scared after that, and it continued to be so during the Worlds as well, and I couldn't get rid of it. And it was just tough. I was battling so many things, with the injury in my arm and all the exhaustion and stuff, and then the putting struggles hit me. So it hasn't been easy, definitely, but now I try to find my confidence again, and I've actually switched to straddle putt. So I think I'm gonna this weekend I'm going to do only straddle putting because I think it gives me more balance, and maybe I'm just not as scared anymore. So I'll try that, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
What about your? I think you said your arm. What are you? Is there something that's hurt, and is that new since traveling, or is that something you left Estonia with? What is the injury that you've been working with or dealing with?
So 2 days before Worlds, I was practicing on Mulligan's course, and on hole 7, I threw this like weird flex shot, and I was already pretty tired at that point because it was my second round, and we had been doing 2 rounds a day prior to that, like every day. And I immediately felt that something went wrong. So actually, like I got this lat muscle strain. So there was pain in my back and in my arm, and I thought it will go away, but one day clearly wasn't enough for me to rest. So the whole week I was like on painkillers and stuff, and I think like the first few rounds it didn't affect me as much because I had a lot of adrenaline in my body, and so I couldn't feel it. But the last round was horrible. Even like doing jump putting or just putting, it was pretty bad. So after Worlds, I rested for 2 days, and it was still pretty bad. So I considered pulling myself out of the canyons competition, but basically I didn't practice at all. I didn't throw many shots. Some of the holes I played for the first time in the tournament, and I think that helped because I feel better now. I can't say it's 100% like right now. Today I also had a practice round, and it wasn't as painful, but I can still feel that something is not quite right. So from now on, I just try to maybe do 1 round a day, and maybe with only like 2 shots off the tee maximum, and not irritate it as much.
That's got to be frustrating going through what you did to get here, to prepare for the World Championships, and then right beforehand coming up with some sort of like hopefully minor injury. Do you think that affected your mental game at all, or were you thinking about that during the round?
During Worlds, I wasn't thinking about it. I was just thinking about like executing my shots and just trying to get it over with. I mean, like it wasn't a perfect play from me, but the next week, so like the last week, it was pretty horrible, and I couldn't sleep because I was so stressed out that I came all this way, and now I really feel horrible, and it's painful, and maybe I can't compete anymore, and I also can't go back home because our plane tickets aren't like
they're not ready.
we will fly back in August, and yeah, I had a lot of thoughts in my mind, and it was just super frustrating. But now there's like hope again because I feel better thanks to not throwing that much, and I think my arm could rest a bit. But yeah, it's been stressful, and I was just so worried, and I was really sad, and I don't want to feel that again.
Have you? And I know being in Estonia, has been different. But have you talked at all with Seth from Disc Golf Strong here in the U.S.? Have you had any conversations with him?
Yes, I actually contacted him on Tuesday last week because, as I said, I was so stressed out and I was so scared what will happen, and I knew I had to seek for help because it was super painful, and I knew it's not like something that will just magically go away. So I asked for his help, and he gave me some tips, and I followed his tips, and he just told me not to throw as much, and he even suggested I should maybe pull myself out of the competition, not play at all. But I told him I'm determined and I will go and try, and if I feel more pain, I will just quit. But I mean, I think I think not throwing as much helped. I mean, in the competition, I basically did 18 drives and rest was easy. So before the tournament, I didn't like do any warm up throwing. I just did some exercises and some putting, and then went on to the course.
Well, you threw less than everybody else.
I was just going to say, yeah, if you just throw less than all your competitors, that helps as well. Before we get into this weekend and what your performance, I also want to just touch on, how about the heat or humidity? I mean, you guys travel over, and I know you've played in all sorts of conditions, but it was really hot in Ogden, and then it was really humid and hot in Illinois this last weekend. How have you been? Are you guys used to that, and how have you been dealing with that?
I definitely can't say that I'm used to that, but I'm trying to get used to that. Today was also super hot during our practice round, and all the competition rounds were pretty crazy too. I mean, I just try to hydrate, and everybody else has the same conditions, so I can't complain.
Well, the good news is, I think in Des Moines, where we'll be this weekend, it's going to be about 26 degrees or cooler for the next 3 or 4 days, and that's got to be exciting for you.
Yes, but I think it's going to be raining, so that's not very exciting.
Yeah, there's like a 40% chance of rain all weekend, it looks like.
Well.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, did you guys bring umbrellas, or are you just buying them here?
No, we did. We brought our umbrellas with us. I was hoping not to use them, but they're here.
Well, yeah, if you have to use them either for the sun and the heat, or now possibly for the rain, at least it's going to be worth bringing them if you're using them all this time. So, all right. So this weekend, you played in Illinois at the Clash at the Canyons at Dellwood, a Silver Series event. Obviously you were battling the injuries, and you were thinking about those types of things. But once you got there, how did you feel about the course, and how did you feel your game would fit the course?
I think the course was pretty fun, and I think it's like pretty similar what we would have it back in Estonia, like some like tight fairways, and I think the length of the course was pretty much the same, and I really liked it. Yeah, I think it suited my game well. I just wish I just had a better putting weekend, but I mean, I'm still super happy to take the win, and I think it was just something that I needed to have the proper motivation going forward, and I'm just very happy.
Yeah, I noticed during the round when we were doing the commentary that you have won. Now, you've played in smaller events, but you've won every event you've played in this year except for the World Championships. So you're back to, what you're used to doing. That's got to feel good. Some of the events that you play in when you're international, there's usually just open women, right? In terms of the field, or an FPO field, there's not commonly 4 or 5 or 6 different women's divisions. Can you explain some differences for people that maybe aren't familiar with international disc golf?
Yeah, usually we have only one women's division, so that would be FPO, because I don't think we have enough women to like have separate divisions. So for example, when I started to play disc golf, I didn't play as an amateur, not even once. After my first competition, I went pro. I didn't even think that would be an option because we didn't have any divisions, so there was no point, and I didn't know what was going on over here, and so yeah, I think it's a common thing in Europe. I mean, in Estonia and in Finland, it is getting bigger, and we have a proper amateur female field as well, but I would say it's mostly only FPO. Yeah.
Since this is one of the few times you've been with us, a little bit of backstory as to how you got involved and started playing disc golf. I know you were just saying you jumped right into the FPO field, but how did you get introduced to it, and why did you get so hooked on it right away?
So I used to do cross country skiing, and there was another cross country skier who lived in Finland, and he was introduced to disc golf, and I think through that channel somehow it made it over to our friends group, and they suggested I should try it as well. And I rented a disc. I think it was like a Valkyrie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I played with it like for a long time with the rental. So, and after a while I got my own discs. I had a couple, and then my friends told me to go and play Estonian championships, and somehow I won with a playoff.
Who knew?
Yeah.
And after that, I really got hooked, and the following year, I participated in many events. I signed up with the BDGA, and from that moment on, I knew this is something that I really like. And I saw all these women on YouTube like Valerie Jenkins and Paige Pierce and Katrina Allen, and I thought to myself, like, I want to be like them, and I want to compete with them. But back then I thought this is not possible for me, but I can still dream, and now I'm actually here. So dreams do come true.
They do, and not only do you get to compete with them, but you've sometimes found ways to beat them. You know, these women that you've looked up to for so long, and now everybody is excited to see yourself, to see Henna, to see Evelina, to see our international women compete when possible, because you guys make the FPO division so much more exciting. I mean, Katrina and Sarah and Paige, they've had their way, but when you guys show up, you know, there's more battles to be had, so which is awesome. So real quick, what year was that you got introduced roughly?
2014.
Okay, wow, so not very long ago. Well, a lot of people are asking on the board, you run is it called the Academy?
Yes.
And
Disc Golf Academy.
And that is well, explain it. It's a disc golf training center or facility? What is that?
So this is just a nonprofit that me and Silver founded, and we do all sorts of like clinics and training sessions with people, try to like improve their game and to be there to help them. And we also run like weekly games and some like smaller events and stuff, and all is disc golf related, and just a way to promote disc golf in Estonia.
And how do people get involved? You know, who's eligible? Does it cost them money? Like, what are some of the details?
So basically, everybody can get involved. Doesn't matter if you've hold a disc in your life or who you are or what you do. Our training sessions take place in Pärnu, which is my hometown, and also in Tallinn, which is our capital city. And they're like training sessions are like every week, and there's a monthly payment. So if you have a spot, then you can just pay the monthly fee, and we'll show up every week and do some like putting games and sometimes driving and approaches depending on the weather and the season. But usually the spots fill up very quickly.
That was my next question is, I mean, are there 30 people a week or 50 people a week or 10? Like how many?
Altogether, it would be over 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
That's great.
And is everyone there, that shows up, they're obviously trying to learn and get better. They're all looking up to you and Silver saying, hey, we want to beat and compete with those two, the two that are training them, right?
I think so. I hope so, that they're looking up to us. I mean, they wouldn't be there if they didn't trust us. And if it's a show of trust for me that they believe in me and Silver, what we do and what we're trying to teach them. So we have great groups, and we've had a lot of amazing people over the years. Some people just come over there to socialize and just to have fun. Some people want to achieve something. They have some certain goals and stuff. So there's all kinds of people there.
Wow, and I swear we're going to talk about the tournament, but I have so many questions. Also, this weekend, though, I was very surprised. In the middle of the round, I noticed that Silver was caddying for you, and I knew that he had played some good golf in rounds 1 or 2, but then we got word that he had withdrawn. Do you have any updates as to injury for him, or how's he doing, and what was it why he withdrew?
So before the round, he was starting to warm up, and when he started to do the warm up putting, he realized that his wrist didn't move. So like there was some sort of like nerve was stuck somewhere, and he had a lot of pain in his wrist, and he wasn't able to do anything. So he had to just withdraw, and. Yeah, it's something that has happened to him before, and we were just discussing how awful everything is right now with me having the injury and then him having this pain in his wrist, and like just thinking why is this happening to us? But I think it's just because we are pretty tired. And when you're tired and your body can't cope with everything, then injuries start to happen. And I think that's the reason just why it is how it is. So we just have to get more rest and not throw as much, I think.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan, because you guys have a long tour, and then it's you and Silver, and then you're also right, at least this weekend, you're rooming with Albert Tom from Estonia as well. Is it the three of you that are going to be pretty much traveling as a group together throughout the next few weeks?
Pretty much, except next week. I think Albert he's taking just a week off and do something else, because he's been here already longer, and I think everybody needs a rest. Although he's super athletic and well prepared. I think maybe even better prepared than us, but like, yeah, everybody needs a rest, and he's gonna just do some touristy stuff, I guess.
Hit a water park or something?
Yeah.
Probably. But yeah, the next two events, Great Lakes Open and Preserve, he will take part as well.
Okay. And is there anything on your list, you and Silver, maybe what you guys wanted to visit or to see or to do that's outside of disc golf in the next few weeks?
Actually, no. So if you have any suggestions, yeah, you can tell.
Okay. I will have to think about. I mean, you're kind of in our area right now. We're in Wisconsin in the Milwaukee area, so you're about 6 hours west of us. But then the Preserve is about 5 hours west, and Dglo is about 5 hours east of us. So, and then Ledgestone, and so you're right in our kind of area.
You'll probably drive right through Wisconsin from the Preserve over to Dglo. You'll cut right through our state.
So we'll put some ideas together. Now, one thing that maybe this is part of that question, do you guys care about playing new courses that you're not competing on? Because a lot of people will probably reach out and say, hey, we'd love to have you for league night. Come play on, this Monday night while you're traveling through. Does that interest you guys? Or are you trying to save yourselves?
That's what we have usually been doing, looking up like all the courses nearby to play as many as we can. But right now, with the injury and stuff, I just try to not do that.
Yeah, okay.
Just swing through and sign some autographs. Find some local leagues, show up, sign some discs, and make some friends.
Yeah, well, I've got some ideas. I'll reach out to you, and we'll see if we can come up with some good ideas. So, speaking about your tour, explain to everyone how long exactly you guys will be here, which events you're currently planning on playing.
So we're going to play Des Moines this weekend. Next weekend, we're going to play CCR. Then we're going to play Great Lakes Open and then Preserve. And after Preserve, we'll go back home, have a small time to rest, and then we're going to take part of European Championships.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to head back for European Championships, and maybe we can come back for USDGC and for also the women's event that's taking place at the same time. I don't know what it's called actually. Sorry.
The throw pink.
Yeah, the throw pink. Women's nationals or the United States Women's Disc Golf. Awesome. And I know, depending on how you continue to do, we have to assume that you may earn a position even in the Pro Tour finals a few weeks after that, and the USDGC. I mean, there's some good stuff in October. So yeah, that would be incredible to see you guys be able to come back. So you guys had to quarantine in Croatia for 2 weeks before coming over here, and then, like you said, you were able to play. Did you play the Drava Forester with Dinko and Maya and all of our good Croatian friends over there?
You know it, yes.
Good. Hopefully you didn't party too much, right? It was all serious?
No partying. We were training every day, also doing like multiple rounds a day and going crazy with disc golf. That's why maybe we were so tired. But yeah, we had a lot of fun in Croatia. I mean, it wasn't exactly quarantining. It was just staying out of the Schengen area. So we had no like restrictions. We were basically like tourists over there, but we were just practicing and getting ready for World Championships over there.
Yeah, and I know the Drava Forester in the winter is. They probably told you about the fun that is that event. That's not so much about competition as it is a lot of other fun, and I hope to get back there for that again, because that's an incredible international event as well. So with regard to Delwood, you how do you feel like you played overall on the 3 rounds? You said you like the course. It's similar. Do you feel like you played pretty well also?
I would say I was pretty good off the tee. Made some weird putts, I guess. Which cost me some strokes, and yeah, I try not to think about it anymore, but like I've been pretty good off the tee during Worlds and also in Delwood, so now I just try to work on my putting and to find that confidence again and forget about what I did during the doubles tournament, which was horrible. So yeah, it's still somewhere in the back of my mind, and I always, when I come up to a putt, I think this might happen because it happened, and you can't get it out of your head. But now switching to straddle putt, maybe it helps to forget it because it's like different technique and stuff. So
yeah, and maybe I'll just wait longer and longer before I edit your footage together, so you don't have to worry about seeing it for a little while.
Yeah.
So you're now in Des Moines, and you're practicing for this this upcoming weekend. The last time most people saw Pickard or the course that you're at or will be at this weekend was for the World Championships in 2004. What did you think of the course? There's a lot of FPOTs that are different from MPO. What are some of your thoughts on the course?
I think the course was absolutely beautiful, and I'd say this is my favorite course so far that I've played here in the States. It looked really, really pretty, and I liked all the different shots, and I think it's going to be interesting. I really enjoyed playing there today.
Okay, and did Silver practice as well, or did he have any thoughts, or did he walk the course?
Yeah, he was playing, and he's feeling better. It's something that happens to him sometimes, and then the nerve just pops out of I don't know where. It gets stuck, and then it's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, right now it's fine. So
okay.
maybe resting it helped. I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen again.
Well, but you also probably like having a caddy, right?
Yeah, I do.
Well, especially one that knows your game so well. I mean, he probably has the discs picked out for you before you even come back from your lie.
Yeah, I definitely turn to him when I'm in between discs. And I'm a person that really likes to have a caddy, but like not like any caddy, just
Okay.
somebody I can trust. That really helps me. And sometimes they did like he doesn't have to say anything, just being there and seeing him and being able to lean on him. This helps me too.
Good. Now, this weekend, you have 25 FPO competitors. I was going to do a quick sort. All the people we would expect to see there: Paige, Katrina, Sarah. You're the fourth highest rated woman there. And then Missy Gannon, Juliana Korver. So a lot of the women we would expect to see. You weren't really in the game when Juliana Korver was, dominating and winning her world championships. But this is, of course, she helped design, and she's from Iowa. Have you guys had any conversations at all over the couple of weeks you've been here? Have you had a chance to talk to her or no?
Yes, I played with her during the first round in Worlds, and then I also played with her in Delwood, and she's an amazing person. She's such a great athlete, and she's so warm and kind, and I just only have good words for her. Just so happy to have met her, and I've been following on her on social media, and now I finally got to talk to her and meet her, and yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I think it's for someone like yourself, who's obviously one of our top FPO competitors, and then to see someone like Juliana who stepped away from the game for a while but has 5 world titles, something you yourself are striving to go out and capture our world titles, to be able to reconnect and to have those moments and to play against her, I would think would be really special and really awesome to see.
Yeah, it was, and I really look up to her. She's so sweet and such a great competitor.
Do you feel like, I know Worlds is done, and then you also picked up a win this last weekend. With traveling and with this being your first time here, you're the only international FPO player we've really seen in the last year or so. Are there any pressures that either you put on yourself or you feel like others maybe are watching you with any extra pressure out here at all?
Yeah, I definitely felt the pressure, especially during Worlds, because the whole Europe was rooting for me, of course, and everybody was messaging me, and I was thinking not to put pressure on myself and just try to play my game, but I guess it didn't really work out that way. But I mean, it is what it is, and I think the pressure has lifted now. I just try to also have fun here, not to only think about results and going crazy with it. Just to have fun, throw the shots, and just be in the moment.
From your perspective, is there a European versus U.S. kind of struggle at all? Because we talked a lot about with the European women not being able to make it over for Worlds, and I know we've got our version of the Ryder Cup. It's the President's Cup, where we do kind of compete against each other. But is there a feeling over in Europe like that, where a Europe versus U.S.? Do you cheer for the other European women when they beat the U.S. women? I mean, is there a little extra there?
There might be, but I mean, I think all the Europeans love the US players too. I think everyone here is great and awesome competitors. And I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really care who wins. I think the best disc golfer will win. And but I mean, yeah, of course, it would have been a great achievement for Europe too, to get a higher spot in World Championships. But I mean, I think everybody loves everybody.
Good. So I know we're again backtracking a little, but what did you think of the world's finishes on both the women's side and the men's side? I mean, you were right there with, front row seat, and you were able to experience it all. What did you think, first of all, on the women's side with the way the final hole played out?
I mean, it's crazy. I can't imagine the pressure that Katrina had going when she was throwing the second shot. She knew she had to go for it to even have a chance, and I know that was her game plan, to go for the green every time. But this time she was kind of like pinched off to the right side. She usually played to the left side, I saw. So it was much easier to attack the green from there. So this time she had a super tricky shot. And to see that green flag, I can't imagine what she felt like. It was a huge pressure lifted from her chest. And then to Paige, like, to see that and having the pressure come to her after that, whoa, it was a lot, I think. For me, it was interesting to just stand there and watch, but the feelings were going crazy, and watching Paige throw the upshot, I mean, right out of her hand, I saw it was low, and then Katrina just looked at me and asked, okay, do I have to lay up now? And I told her, yes, you have to lay up now.
Wow.
Because it was decided right then and there when Paige went OB, basically. Well, actually, after she missed her putt. Yeah. So that's when she asked about the layup. But it was crazy. It was so crazy.
And then, I mean, you're right. That is all crazy. Congratulations. We had Kat last week, and heartbreaking for Paige, and yet so exciting and monumental and huge for Kat, and all of disc golf kind of won in a little way with that. And then, what about the Mpo finish? Where were you when the shot happened? What were you still there? Were you around?
Well, I had to come back for the awards ceremony because they were giving out the trophies for top 5. Mm-hmm. So otherwise, I wouldn't have come back probably. I would have just watched the live coverage, I think. But I came back and we were right there on 18th hole. And after Conrad laid up, we were just thinking it's over because Paul will take the win, obviously. Mm-hmm. And as Conrad threw his approach shot, I was too short to see over the crowd, but Silver and Albert were tall enough to see how it went in. And I was like holding my hand. What happened? And it was so crazy. It was something surreal, something that you would see in a movie, I think. But it was perfect for the spectators. But again, I can't imagine what Paul felt. It must have been heartbreaking. Like, he did everything right. And this happened. Wow.
And James went out and just took it away from him. I mean, you're right. I feel like Paul did everything right. He, they had a great battle the entire day, of course, and the entire week. And it looked like it was done. I mean, 999 times out of 1,000, that's it. It's done. And James said, "This is my week and my title." So I feel like you will forever have a story just about those two endings, and I know you wish you were putting in the winning putt on the FPO side, but you've got two incredible stories.
I know, it's so incredible, and I'm so happy for these two. I know Katrina had been waiting her second title for a long time. She worked so hard, and obviously James deserves it as well. Like, he's just amazing in the woods and putting so well, and it was crazy. And congratulations to the champions.
Well, as we said, we're having you here tonight. You not only won this weekend, but it's awesome to see you guys here for the tour. We love watching you right there competing with all of our top FPO. We love seeing Silver and Albert here as well, of course. It's going to be pretty incredible, and I'm excited to know you guys have only been here a couple weeks, and you've got 3, 4, 5 more weeks with us. Is there anything you want to say to the world before we let you go here tonight?
I just want to thank everybody who has supported me, obviously Latitude 64, and to everybody back home who just constantly keep messaging me and asking how I feel and giving me good wishes. It's just I feel very loved, and it's a good feeling to have. And also thank you for having me here.
Anytime. You're always welcome.
Anytime any one of you ever wants to join us, you don't have to win, even though you do all the time, but you don't have to win. Anytime you ever would love to join us, we would certainly take you in a heartbeat. We would love to have you guys.
We're on awfully early at their time, though. I think
that's true. I know.
I think Martin joined and he said, "I'm watching from Estonia. It's 5 a.m." Like, oh, well, good morning.
So, but you guys are always welcome, win, lose, or whatever. It doesn't matter. How can people support you? I know you just thanked your sponsor and a number of helpers, but how, if people want to go out and really support you or all three of you, what are some ways they can do that?
I think going to Latitude's webpage and buying our discs helps us a lot, or just visiting your local retailer. They have our signature discs as well, and I think this is a huge way to support. But all the good words and wishes on like social media, they're a huge help as well. Sometimes I just read them and I tear up because they're so beautiful. Thank you.
Well, Kristen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It worked out perfectly. I'm super excited. I'll be watching you guys traveling over Des Moines tomorrow, so I'll be there to watch the action this weekend. Of course, we're on the Disc Golf Network for the next stop on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So hello and thanks to Albert and Silver. And again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. See you guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Get some rest.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Kristen Tatar joining us.
What a joy.
Was that her first time ever here? I don't know if we did have her one other time or not, but either way,
I don't know if it
needs to happen more often.
Well, yeah, of course it does. This might be her first time as a solo guest on the show like this. She might have stopped in at one of our World's broadcasts, one of our nightly broadcasts a while ago. I don't recall offhand.
Either way, awesome to see and to hear from her. So thank you so much. I know we kind of even glossed over the idea of her winning this weekend, but she won. She not only was your top-rated woman, but she then went out there. I feel like she had a little bit of an advantage with the distance. She's obviously one of our longer distance throwers. I feel like out of actually all of the FPOs, if I take a quick gander down the list, I feel like she's probably one of the farthest throwing one. And then when her putt is on, I mean, she's darn near unstoppable. Sarah Gilpin challenged her. Read a few of the top results, Johnny.
So we saw, obviously, Kristin Tattar take first place, shooting a 1 under par for the event, followed up by Sarah Gilpin, who's been shooting very well over the last few weeks. So congratulations to Sarah. She shot a 2 over par, so Kristin won by 3 strokes. 1 stroke behind Sarah was Holly Finley. No surprise, Holly is deadly in the woods, very accurate. 4th place, as we mentioned earlier, Juliana Korver. So just... she's not the ageless wonder because I give that to Elaine King, but Juliana Korver just continuing to play well in the FPO field. 5th place, Stacy Haas, tied with Kat Murch. So Kat Murch probably the other far thrower in that field for that course. Her and Kristin Tattar probably the two that you can always count on.
Well, and then real quick side note, and I did not know this going into Sunday, Stacy, that you had just mentioned, who finished in 5th, I'm going to assume, if I do a little clicking around, I'm going to assume she, in fact, declined the cash.
Ooh.
Because I think I saw her competing at Junior Worlds in a field event yesterday.
That could be.
If I can get my act together here, I'm going to see if I can find that for sure. Yes, it does show that she declined the cash that would have came her way, probably around $275, $300-ish. but looks like she had declined that, so that makes perfect sense. And then I'm going to click on her as it says she's from Hubbard Lake, Michigan. I do not know her personally. She was the one kind of name that I didn't know that was on our broadcast, obviously performing well. She was in the putting competition at the Junior Worlds and the long drive, and I'm going to click on them because I felt like she won or did well in one or both of them. She took 5th in the putting with 30 total points in the Junior Girls 18 and under, and she won the long drive because she won the long drive. Okay. I knew I saw things. This is what happens when you spend too much time in the internet. She won the long drive competition, so congratulations to her. It showed that she had a 337-foot drive. She's got an 885 rating, and she took first, like I said, at the Junior Girls 18 and under, taking place at Emporia right now. The Dynamic Disc crew over there doing some work. So awesome. Congratulations to her. And looks like in just a few moments, we're going to even jump right over to an MPO champion from this weekend. Johnny, it's like I don't want to jinx it, but we almost have a well-oiled machine going on here.
Back-to-back weeks with dual champions is what we're looking at. I mean, everybody knows.
We want the winners.
Everybody knows when you win,
you step inside the Smash Box.
A significant event that we care about, you come into the Smash Box. I mean, we don't just let any Yahoos in here. I mean, you've won events, I've won events. We wouldn't even make our own podcast if we won. But
no, well, nonetheless, I think he's just about geared up. Maybe he's got a thumbs up for me if he thinks he's ready to go. And just like that, folks, we go from the FPO champion and Kristen Tatar to the MPO champion this weekend, Dan Schlitter. Yeah, buddy, how you doing?
What's up, guys? I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We didn't win any events this weekend, so
we're just losers.
We just you speak for yourself, but no, we're happy to have you. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So let's quickly put you in perspective in the sense that you just got done running or playing in league, or what? Where did you just come from moments ago?
Yeah, I was out in Streamwood, Illinois at Shady Oaks Park playing doubles league. I got the day off of running for one day this week. It is Tuesdays, so just a participant tonight.
Okay, so before we get into this weekend's action, give everyone a little bit of a backstory. This is your first time here on Smashbox, so the whole world wants to get to know you a little bit. When did you get introduced to golf, and how did you know that you were hooked on it?
Yeah, so I first picked up a disc in 2011. That was when I was going into college. I was going to be a pitcher at Judson University playing baseball on scholarship, and my roommate played disc golf a lot. That was kind of his main hobby, and that was kind of how I was introduced to him. He was a disc golfer. So I showed up to the course with my dog's Frisbee, ready to go tackle the course. Little did I know I was in for a really long day of trying to get that thing to go where I wanted it. So he handed me actually an old DX Beast that was in the back of his bag, and it flew a little further, a little straighter for my arm speed at the time. But coming from a baseball background, I was just throwing basically chopped sidearms all the time. I went to the 7-Eleven near my house, and the first disc I bought off the rack was a Discraft Z Nuke OS.
So yeah, perfect beginner-friendly disc.
Absolutely the best beginner disc you can find. No, I had to throw the chop sidearm to even get that thing to fly. So that's kind of how I played for the first year while I had a Nuke OS only. But we progressed from there, met a lot of people. I have a couple good friends from high school, TJ Romack and Dennis Grakusis. We would always kind of go out and play a little bit with our 2 or 3 discs and have a blast. But coming from the baseball background, I wanted a little bit of competition. I started getting a little bit better. I started going a little straighter and in the basket. I finally got my first ace. So it was just like, okay, full send. I want to go to all the leagues I can, and that's kind of how we got absolutely hooked.
I'm kind of surprised as a pitcher with a Nuke OS, you weren't just throwing tomahawks all day or thumbers. Like that seems like a natural overstable with your background, something you would have maybe picked up on.
I'm the anomaly, I guess, because overhands hurt. I don't know if I'm just throwing them incorrectly or what, but that is one shot coming from a baseball background that I do not have. But the forehand makes up for the non-overhand, so that one definitely does come from the baseball background.
And right there, I think that's an interesting insight that some people, depending on either who they're around or what their background is, really kind of dictates, did they start backhand, did they start forehand, and then did they ever get around to developing the other throw? And, of course, having that kind of sidearm, mentality right off the bat, did you realize that backhand was also a necessary tool? Did you have other mentors or people around that, wanted to help you become more well-rounded right off the bat?
Absolutely. At first, I thought I could do everything with the sidearm. I was just like, I don't need to learn a backhand. I can put it wherever I want. And then I was introduced to wooded golf. And yeah, the sidearm's not going to do everything you want it to do once you see some trees in your way. So um, it was when I joined the Bird Brain Disc Golf Club, which is the local club around my area that I'm actually the president of now. But that was the club that allowed me to meet so many different people and have so many different styles of throw that made learning, I guess I should say, forcing a backhand into my repertoire. It made it so much easier because I had so many different examples to look at every single week. So no one in particular at first, when I first realized I needed a backhand, helped me, I guess I would say. It was mostly just a group effort of observing and just piecing together what I could put together as backhand mechanics. But um, I've definitely, like 2 years into playing the game, I realized that if you don't have a backhand, you're not going to go very far. So we had to learn it.
Was there anything else from just a baseball background that you felt like was applicable? How you pulled through, like anything? Was there anything else mechanically, maybe, or mentally, that you were able to pull from?
Yeah. From a physical standpoint, I would say just the importance of hip explosion and hip rotation, coming from a baseball swing, a
Mhm.
pitch, and a disc golf throw, you're all relying on explosive hips. So that was a key piece of mechanics, both for a forehand and for a backhand, that I realized the early importance of, and that was just something I worked on applying right away, just because that's what I knew was important. Similarly with pitching on the physical side, just everything kind of starting from the ground up. So knowing that the most important aspects of the throw is going to be from footwork and like I said, your lower body rotation to make sure that that upper body can follow and whip whichever way you're going. But then from a mental side too, routine, clearing the mind, tunnel vision, things like that have always been a big help in the game, just to kind of focus, eliminate any distractions, and be able to just put the pieces together that are my game.
Well, and one of the things that were not only just noticed by Dana and myself, others had noticed that you have a very specific and dedicated and maybe even a little bit animated routine as you're getting yourself set up. You're not thinking about any of those things, right? Because it's just your routine.
It's just my routine. I guess just small background. I guess I didn't realize I make that many faces until I saw it back on camera.
All right, use that.
But
Use
yeah,
that.
that's hilarious.
You've become a
I
slight
play.
meme in some places.
Yeah.
There's a few
I'm
places
well
that
aware.
are.
I'm well aware, but I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it for sure. That's
That's
me,
great.
and I'm
Uh-huh.
loving it. I do still play a few instruments, but when I was a teenager, I played a lot of drums in a few different bands, and it's a definite drummer thing to make a lot of faces while you're consistently, moving your arms and drumming around. I've seen lots of videos of me playing drums where I don't even understand what my face muscles are even doing. They're not being controlled by my brain, but it definitely has translated into my most focused moments of disc golf. I can totally see the resemblance, as can everybody else. So
Yeah, I mean, routine, but then rhythm, passion, enthusiasm. tempo. I mean, all of those things are probably subconsciously all adding up, and then sometimes a contorted or animated face may be the result. And
I mean, he's
you're
right.
the Michael Jordan, right? I mean,
he's right, because drummers make funny faces. Guitar players always look like they're in pain. Like when they're playing, anytime I see a guitar player start to hit some high notes, he squints up and he really looks like he's in pain. But drummers, they're just all over the place.
So Johnny and I maybe even recognize a few of either the courses or the names that you speak of, but you're in the Chicagoland area. Give everyone, we don't need your coordinates, but what are you repping? Where are you repping these days for anyone that doesn't know exactly where you're at or what we're talking about? Some of the clubs and the courses that you might either lean into or speak of.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm like straight northwest of Chicago by about 50 miles. My home club, like I mentioned, is Bird Brain Disc Golf. We're out of like the Streamwood, Elgin area. So you'll find us at Shady Oaks Park, Rolling Knolls Park, a Dana Vici design, by the way. And we travel pretty far north, as far up as Gray Fox and Silver Fox in Silver Lake, Wisconsin. Thanks, Terry. We also go as far south as like the Joliet area as well. So we get down to the canyons and Highland Park and all those other gems out in that South Chicago region as well. So that's the club I'm repping. You'll find me at Shady Oaks or Rolling Knolls quite a bit, but I did just actually move a little further northwest. So I'm a little closer to a couple more Dana Vici designs in Felpro and Walnut Hollow in Cary, Illinois. So those are really the home courses now. But yeah, you'll find me all over the northwest suburbs.
Well, and to follow that up, obviously you've become one of Illinois' top-rated players, top performers, and you're doing great things on the course. But immediately, Dana and Tom McManus, 1276, we know you're out there, Tom. So many others also lean right into your club work, your tournament directing. What are some of the other things besides playing good golf? What are some of those other things that you're finding? You're tying yourself up with, or you're committing to, because it seems like you're 100% all in on disc golf.
Yeah, I absolutely love the game, and I'm happy to give back in any way that I can. Besides playing whenever I can, I'm the president of the Bird Brain Disc Golf League. It's a handicap singles league that runs through April through October, and it's Thursday and Sunday every single week. And I'm usually there every single time, doing all the spreadsheets behind the scenes for that, as well as just coordinating all the funds. We do a lot of behind the scenes work as well as showing up and running the events themselves, but we throw a few sanctioned events every year as well, and it's just an absolute blast. I look at running tournaments as like throwing a party for 90 or 180 of your closest disc golf buddies, and it's always a big goal just to make sure everyone has a great time, feels that their money is well spent, while also promoting the courses that are in the area. It's a win-win for everybody, and when the parks see that, they're way more inclined to put more money into disc golf, have more courses in the area. So it's really kind of just helping myself in a way, but also everybody else, because I feel like if you put a little bit of time and effort into the administrative side or just any sort of volunteer work, the benefits that you reap from that are going to be tenfold from what you put into it. And I've seen that firsthand many times, and it only makes me want to continue doing that type of stuff. So leagues, tournaments, volunteer days. I'm trying to work with a couple park districts on some course designs, which I would definitely reach out to a Dana or a Sean Callahan from Delwood for some design insights, just because my design experience is minimal. So I would really love to have some professional insight on those if I am going to be heading a project like that, to make sure it gets done right and it's going to be something that everybody will enjoy.
Well, obviously, as you're saying, just a labor of love that then can snowball into so many other great things, which it all seems like you're on the path for, and it's awesome to see. So then that leads to the next question, which is, what's your day job? Do you have a day job? And is that day job going to eventually be disc golf and being on the tour, or not? Like, what are some of your aspirations?
So I'm an accountant, not a CPA or anything like that, but I do work in corporate accounting and finance. It's not nearly as fun as disc golf. Full disclosure.
Oh, dang. Okay,
I would
okay. Let me check
absolutely,
that off the list. I
yeah,
wasn't sure. Questions to add. Yeah, okay.
yes, yeah, take that one off. I have my life partner as well as my dog are not very apt to being able to travel full time. So where that obviously those are my main priorities, and if that was an option, I would absolutely love to get on the road a little bit more, hit some bigger events that I can. This was the first year I was able to hit a little bit of the early West swing, and hitting Vegas and the Memorial. Um, I li- the thing about that was I was eligible to fly on a plane by about a day after I was done isolating
Mm.
from COVID-19 right before getting to Vegas. So when I thought that my COVID-19 experience was pretty mild and I tried to go throw as far as I can for 4 straight days in Las Vegas, I found out that I quickly still had plenty of fatigue, and it made me stay in bed basically anytime I was not out on the course. It was a pretty miserable trip, to be honest. So not how I wanted to start out the year. It was a huge confidence deflator, even though I guess I had a legitimate excuse. I guess I'm a little hard on myself at times, and I take a lot of responsibility, maybe even when I shouldn't. But that was just one kind of kick in the shin at the beginning of the year. Also coming off of an early last minute Texas trip that I went on and played a C tier, and I didn't cash at that. It was just like, are you good at disc golf, man? I thought you were pretty good, bro.
Well, COVID
So
sometimes says otherwise.
It can knock you out.
yeah, not the greatest beginning to the year, but just kind of getting that West Coast insight, even though I wasn't feeling the best, hanging out with everybody that was out there was the coolest experience. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the game before I'm even a player. I love watching the coverage. I get starstruck anytime I see somebody who I've watched ever since I was a beginner. Even if I'm beating them, it's still like, well, this is still awesome. It's hard not to just be a fanboy at times when you come out to events like this, but um, it's been cool because the better I've been shooting at some of these disc golf pro tour events, the more and more of these players I've been admiring for years are showing up on my card, and it's really it's humbling, but it's at the same time it really lets me know that I'm moving forward in the right direction. I've made tons of progress since I started playing in the PDGA in 2016 and really started playing organized disc golf in 2014. So it's been 7 years since I've really played a ton, but I feel like I've been playing for even longer than that. I feel like a true veteran of the game at this point.
Well, you have enough experience. You run events. You're course designing. You're winning events. I mean, you've got way more experience than a lot of people.
Well, and I'll add on that, and I just think about something we just heard from Kristen, where she was saying, she had looked up to and admired so many of these women for so long, and now here she is grinding it out, competing with them, and sometimes even beating them. And then you're obviously on a similar path, and that is something that's incredible with, I think, our entire sport. Is rarely do you get to see someone that dominates or that you admire, and then within a matter of years, with some hard work and determination, you could be playing against them or possibly even beating them. I'm sure that can happen in the NFL or the NBA, but not as likely. That's disc golf for you. So, not necessarily a full-time tour or anything of that nature. Will you see yourself continue to be a regional player, big events that come to town or come to maybe in the Midwest, and then occasionally, jet out to a few destination events from time to time? That's the foreseeable future for you?
I would say so for sure. I would definitely like to pack up as many of those Midwest A tiers. Like if I could afford to take off the time from work to go to like a Ledgestone, or I think it's like D-Glow, Preserve, Ledgestone, Idlewild I think are like 4 weeks back to back to back to back or something like that. Um, Boy, would I love to go on that stretch, but I would be unemployed by the time I come back. So that is just the biggest deciding factor of how I'd have to be choosy with the bigger events that I play and the ones that do require any time off. I would just say, okay, well, Ledgestone is always a must. I want to go back. Clash at the Canyon starts on a Friday, so we got to take that Friday off. It's just kind of like a little audit at the beginning of the year, like, okay, how much time off will I need to take for these 10 events? Okay, those are the ones I can play and I can afford to travel to. Everything else we'll just have to pack up with local B and C tiers. Any other leagues or events that I'm running, I can pencil those in around my main, quote unquote tour schedule, I guess. And it's nice because it's always a change of pace. Sometimes it's your local buddies. Sometimes it's the run of the mill, touring pros that are coming through town, and sometimes it's the best of the best that are playing at the Elite Series. So it's a fun mix. It's eclectic, but at the same time, I would love to continue to test my talents at the top level as often as I can because that would only motivate me to want to get better quicker.
Well,
I mean, he could be unemployed after those 4 weeks, or he could have a tour disc and be making a boatload of just win all
come
four
on,
of them.
Discraft, make it,
Win all four of them, and Discraft is forced to give you a tour series disc, I heard.
or a couple of them. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
So, speaking kind of in those same exact lines, this event this weekend, it's showing as your first pro A-tier victory, and also a $3,000 check from what I can. My quick 2 seconds of research.
I'm sure he accounted for that.
Yeah, my 2 seconds of research shows that is maybe 5 times your previous largest paycheck for disc golf. Yeah, I see 610 for winning the lumberjack. Assuming that was maybe one of your other biggest checks, or did you have one in between there?
Well, I got PDGA wise, I believe 800 for winning the Sandy Point Northwoods Open back in 2019.
Correct. Yeah, correct. I'm sorry, I see that. So regardless, you more than almost tripled or quadrupled your largest PDGA paycheck this last weekend. Did you go back and then on top of it, it's in your home state? Did you go back? Have you watched any post and or live of your play this weekend? Look at that grin.
Of course,
I love it. What did you take from it? What did you take from it?
So I've had the pleasure of watching the coverage back with my parents and my grandparents, just kind of showing them. My parents have both been to one disc golf tournament before, and it was the Clash at the Canyons in 2019, where I was also the champion. So they know the course. They got to see most of the holes, most of the same holes, some new holes on this year's layout that weren't back then, but just kind of got to walk them through the round, show it to them, enjoy their praise or their cursing at times when I would slam a putt into the cage during the second round. But mostly just kind of go through it, show it to them, explain to my grandparents who have never seen disc golf before, just kind of, explaining to them what we're doing, what everything is, that we're throwing, and just giving them the general overview while also shooting well was really, really cool. So it's been nothing but positive reactions and good feelings looking back at it, and just living through the memories of again what is just definitely the biggest win of my career so far, and what's the best 4th of July, and just an amazing memory that I can look back on, thanks to GK Pro and the Disc Golf Network for documenting that and just having that out there hopefully forever until technology becomes obsolete and YouTube isn't around anymore.
Just download. I mean, you can scrape it. You'll find a way to download it.
Download it to your brain with some chip that, thanks to Elon or Gates or somebody or Bezos, you'll just be downloading that into an internal brain chip for yourself. I mean, yeah, and I will say that how exciting, like, to think that, arguably your biggest disc golf career moment up into this stage in your career, documented, multiple channels, multiple outlets, tons of photos, videos, all thanks to the likes of Lauren and the crew there, and Disc Golf, the Disc Golf Pro Tour, just everybody, all the media staff, and all of that is there as a permanent memento, and for you to always be able to relish and look back on, I think is incredible. Chase card, playoff, I mean, figurative and literal fireworks throughout the day. I mean, that's like a fairy tale, isn't it?
That's kind of, like I said, I'm such a huge fan of the game, and like being the person in it, like I felt all the drama live, just like everybody else that was watching. But in terms of the result, I think it was just being so focused on making sure that I executed and just didn't let the nerves into my head. I didn't really realize like how, epic the situation really was. I didn't look at scores the entire event. So I had no clue what any of those putts meant, if it was for first place, if it was for fifth place. I had no clue. I made that putt on hole 18. I gave the high fives to my card mates, and I walked right over to my caddy. I said, okay, now you can show me scores. And that's when he was like, well, you're in the lead by one. And I was kind of just like, really? And that's when we were just like, well, now we become spectators. We got to see what Terry does on 18. And as soon as we saw his drive land up on the barricade, I marched my sweet buns on over to the putting green and started getting loose and started trying to huff and puff the nerves out of the sails. So that's
and that was
right where we.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That was going to be my next question, though, is what were some of the, on the green, we saw you and Terry fist bump a couple of times. You're both so positive and energetic, people in general. And then to see you square off, what were some of those either nerves and or conversation moments there?
I love Terry. We're buddies for sure. I played with him for the first time back at the Rumble. I believe it was 2019. And just to be able to meet somebody about as goofy as yourself was so awesome. And I looked forward to the moment we got to play together again. We were out at the Titan Open a few weeks back together. We didn't get to play on the same card as each other, but we hung around each other at all the courses together, and he ended up winning the event in a playoff as well. And I was there watching him during the playoff. I had 3 pretty mediocre rounds, but I was ready to support and watched him take it down, gave him some congratulations, and I was super, super happy for him because you always love to see a buddy win. You always love to see a teammate win, and you always love to see a playoff. So it was just super exciting. Was happy for him. I ended up dropping out of Peoria area B tier last weekend, the Illinois Open Series, and he took my spot. And I told him, I said, you're welcome. I knew he was on a heater and he was going to shoot well, and he did. I mean, he was just killing it. He was on my Grip 6 picks to click this past weekend, just because I knew how hot he was. So we're great buddies. Once I saw that he was coming over, and the first thing he said to me was like, dude, great round. And what else can I do but go give the guy a hug, give him some embrace. And it felt so comfortable just warming up on the green with him. We're just talking, conversing, just like we're not about to go play off for a big Disc Golf Pro Tour Silver Series, first place. We were just BSing, having a good time, throwing putts at the basket. I even threw a lefty putt to try and psych him out. I hope it worked.
But it worked for me. I saw it.
Oh, sweet. I'm glad someone saw it.
Yeah, I was just saying on the board too that I almost had to do a double take because it was a full 20 feet. It wasn't like a little 6-footer. I feel like it was a full 20 feet. And I thought to myself, like, did he just putt that lefty? And I don't remember if Dana said something or not, but I was like, I think he just threw one in lefty from like real distance. I was like, what's going on here? Like, yeah, that is some next level, psych move. So with all of those warm and fuzzies, and everyone appreciates that, of course, Terry kind of made it easy for you once the playoff got started. Of course,
It's a
not
tough hole.
Yeah,
to start
correct,
out with.
and not connecting. I mean, he took a lot of the pressure off of you. Once we kind of saw that hole unfold, what were you thinking as it was all going down?
Yeah, absolutely. I was so happy to go first in the playoff. I feel like that's the biggest advantage you can have going into a playoff because I feel like the pressure of seeing your opponent lace a drive is going to be way greater than the what if or what's he going to do. You just go first and do what you need to do, set the bar, whether it be low or high, and it's up to them to follow. So I like being in that control position. That was a big advantage in my eyes. But his second shot, I don't know if the camera showed it as well as it really was, but his second shot did land in a pretty good position to get up and down for a fairly routine par. So when I was going to throw my second after he had already thrown his second, I still felt like a birdie was necessary to win. So we kind of had the foot on the gas, I guess. I've had tons of OB rolls on that hole in the past. I even had one in the tournament that, was a almost good shot, but just barely nicked the barricade and found itself on the other side of the paint line. So I knew short left is my friend. Hopefully avoid any rollaways. And then unfortunately, yeah, on his third shot, when he just smacked it right into the branch about 20 feet in front of him, that's when I realized this is over. All I have to do is lay myself up into the gravel and drop it in, barring 100-foot throw in. So, while the drama wasn't maybe as great at the end as a lot of people would have wanted, I was very thankful not to have to run that 25-foot putt on a pretty rollaway prone green. So that was just a big sigh of relief for sure as I walked up to that barricaded green.
Now, in this case, clearly, you're the Conrad, and Terry was the Macbeth. And I mean, you came from behind. You made the great shot to finish things off, and then you go into the playoff. I mean, you were thinking all of that, right, or no?
Where was my throw-in? I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't see
Okay.
any of that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you didn't need one because you performed so well as we were.
You parked 18. I mean,
Yeah.
you barely needed to.
That's incredible that you didn't know the scores. And again, there's something to be said about putting your head down and just grinding it out, doing the best you can, and letting the chips fall. But some would then could argue otherwise and say, well, hey, but if you were up by 2, maybe you could have had a pitch up at a certain point and taken less of a risk somewhere and whatever. But
I think it depends on the course style. If you're ending on a bunch of birdies, you don't change your game plan. If you're ending on maybe a couple par 4s, an island hole, something along those lines, then I think maybe you have to reassess the situation. But looking at the course, that back half of that course seemed like it was more birdieable than the front half, where you just kind of, like you said, put your head down and do your thing.
So I'll follow that up and ask you, after seeing multiple rounds, GK Pro, after watching some Disc Golf Network action, is there anything else that any of the announcers missed, or just anything that else that you want to share from the course and obviously Sean and the club there? But is there anything else that was missed that you'd love to mention or shout out or bring to light from the weekend? Presumably positive.
Man, I mean, from all the coverage that was watched, it highlighted a lot of really awesome things that I feel like capture who I am and just kind of what my game is about. And that's really all you can ask for. Paint a good picture, and hopefully it'll show the fans and everyone who's following and enjoying the coverage what kind of player I am and what you can expect from someone like me. Delwood captures my game in a pretty good way, but at the same time, I've just been trying to get away from being such a forehand dominant player. As weird as that sounds, I know. I guess call it the Eagle McMahon approach, because when I heard him say this earlier in the year, I related very hard because I was going through a small elbow injury and didn't know what the timetable was on a forehand. I felt as if learning a little bit more of a controlled turnover backhand or something that I can work left to right with the backhand is going to be keeping me around in this game much longer than trying to rip full power 400-foot plus sidearms for the rest of my career. I'll ride it as long as I've got it, but I'm not going to lean on it as much as I might have last year or the year before. So that's just something that I know that is going to start becoming a little bit more of a norm, is you're going to just start seeing a lot more backhands out of me and a lot more straight to slight turnovers when you might have said, whoa, wow, Dan would have thrown a forehand like, last month or last year. Yeah, I probably would have, but I just want to make sure that I can continue playing this game for as long as I can. Other than that, no, Gavin, Luke, they did a great job commentating on GK, and they talk about my energy quite a bit. You guys talked about my energy, the animations, everything. I believe in positive attitude. That makes the bad things on the course go away really quickly. So, being uplifting, being a supportive card mate, giving fist bumps, high fives, letting people know when good shots were thrown, making sure you keep your mouth shut when bad shots were thrown because nobody wants to hear you at that time, and just understanding what's going on and who you're playing with. It's a big thing, and it plays into everybody's mental game as well as your own. You want to be a good card mate, you want to be a good person to play with, and I feel like making sure that you have an uplifting and fun time brings out the best in everybody's game. So I don't want to beat anybody by them having an off day. I want to beat them at their best. And if this is what it takes to bring the best out of all of us, then let's bring it on.
Well, and speaking of your best, you win it in 2019. That course you were just talking about, this course bringing out some of your skill sets and you shining. You win it in 2019. Ezra shows up in 2020 and from all looks of it, just destroyed the course, and I don't think anyone was getting in his way. And then you come back and you take it again in 2021. So clearly, the course loves and appreciates you. You turn around, you show it the love and the respect back, and to cash in on your biggest payday and the biggest win of your relatively young career, I think is certainly incredible. So that's awesome. Before we start to wrap up and let you go, we have to let you get in there with some shout outs, some thanks, some praise, ways people can follow and or support what you're doing. Give us all the goods.
Absolutely. Shout out wise, I gotta give shout outs to Sean, everybody at Delwood Disc Golf, Sheila, Thor, Doc, Ryan Fancher, literally everybody in the J-Town area. That is the mecca of Illinois disc golf in terms of structured leagues, the way they fund their events, and the way they just get the people to show out for volunteering. Um, it's such a high bar, and I said it in a couple of my earlier interviews on the Disc Golf Network how amazing it was to hear people like Nico Lacastro, Philo, Ezra, all these touring pros just could not stop talking about the volunteers, the spectators, the way the course looked. And that just, I know that comes right from Sean and Sheila, everyone at the Lockport Park District. It comes out of their heart and soul. They pour everything and more into the course and everything they do in the Delwood disc golf operation. So just big thanks to them. They were my first ever sponsor, and they continue to rise the bar for Illinois disc golf as well as events in general. And to see them shine the way they did on the big stage this past weekend does not surprise any of us at all. And we are excited to see this become a mainstay or an Elite Series event in the future. I mean, that's how good of a job they do at running these events. So hats off to Delwood Disc Golf. Hats off to Discraft Disc Golf. I mean, I set my sights out for them, and I was so happy I was able to get a contract with them back at the end of 2018, and they're the absolute best. The tour support discs that they've allowed me to get this year have paid for all the events that I've signed up for. They've given me travel expense funds to cover anything I might incur on the road. So they've just set me up for absolute no stress, all disc golf, throwing the best discs that are available on the market. I am absolutely blessed to be a part of Discraft, and I could not be happier to wear their name on my back every single event that I play. So big shout out to Discraft, big shout out to Delwood. And I just want to, quick shout out to my caddy, Kenny Slauson, for the weekend. He's been my Clash at the Canyons specific caddy for the past 3 years, and um, he's awesome. He knows when to leave me the hell alone, and he knows when to come and tell me a joke or give me a water, or he never tells me what to do on the course unless I ask him. And I think that that's really a good thing, because you never, Kristen said it best. I caught the end of her interview, and you got to have someone you can trust.
Mhm.
And I trust that he knows when to say something and when not to say something, when to be uplifting and when to just kind of, let me be. And he is the greatest. So just a quick shout out to him as well, because he's a good buddy, and I really appreciate him carrying all those discs all this entire weekend.
Well, and he's got you 2 wins in 3 years. He definitely knows what's going on, which is awesome to hear. Anything else, Mom, parents, anyone else for the shout outs before we let you go?
Yeah, well, of course, give the shout out to the parents. My parents, yeah, they're so supportive. Like I said, I played baseball for 24 years, and I don't play anymore because I could not fathom getting an injury preventing me from playing disc golf at the highest level, or my highest level. So no more men's league, no slow pitch softball. We're going to stay off the diamond for a little bit. But they would come to every game I ever had, near, far, it didn't matter. And they can't come to every disc golf tournament or every round that I play, but they want to hear all about it. They want to know if it's on PDGA Live, if it's on UDisc Live. How can they follow? How can they support? How can they watch? And it's the coolest thing ever. I'm 28 years old, and to still have your parents be that involved, I guess, to see your progression in a game or a sport that you love, even as an adult. It's really awesome, and I love them so much for it, because it's always fun going and getting a birdie on a hole during a tournament and just being like, oh, my mom's going to be stoked when she sees that 2 on the scorecard.
That's for you, moms. That's for you.
Yes.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Well, Dan, we've always had great chats. They've been few, but every time I'm, in southern Wisconsin, or I've run into you at an event, you've always been a pleasure, and clearly your game is continuing to grow and thrive and improve, and to have some of the best players in the world show up in your home state, in your home turf, and for you to defend that title and defend the turf the way you did, and show them how you won it in 2019, and then to come back again and win it in such dramatic and exciting fashion against a buddy, but to do it again here in 2021 has been incredible. And I got to say, the Silver Series has provided these types of incredible moments for us this year that I think would have otherwise maybe just gone unnoticed, or just not had the resources to put on the stage that we have. And this story this weekend, and watching both you and Kristen battle the way you did on such a great course with so many good people, and the support staff has been truly incredible. So well deserved, well earned. I think you made thousands of new fans here tonight. If they didn't know you, they know and love you now. That's obviously what we're seeing on the comments. And man, congratulations! Thanks so much. And I think you know the drill. If you keep winning, we keep having winners back. So hopefully it won't be too long before we see you again somewhere.
No, thank you guys for all the kind words, and especially for having me on. I mean, what an absolute dream. I mean, a lot of this has literally just been pinch me, make sure I'm not dreaming. I was happy to wake up on Monday morning with the trophy and the helmet still next to my bedstand, so that was always nice. But I mean, I couldn't imagine all of this happening the way it has. It's been tons of goals checked off in a single weekend. I mean, getting to be on Smashbox TV, getting to be on YouTube coverage, and actually throwing decently well at times on the coverage. It was just things I never knew when they were going to happen. I wanted them to happen, and I've been working towards those things happening. But to get those opportunities and to be able to shine has been just a great experience, something I'll never forget. And just thank you guys for taking the time to have me on and be able to just tell the world a little bit more about myself and where I come from. So I greatly appreciate it.
Well, again, well-deserved, well-earned, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy that's been putting in the time, the work, the effort on and off the course. Disc golf karma, being a good person, doing all the right stuff, and then helping the game grow and thrive, and then going out and playing some good golf. You were rewarded for it, and we were super happy to have the tiniest part in capturing it. So, Dan, we're going to wish you a good night. I know we'll be seeing you around. I know you got a tournament you're running this weekend, so keep doing what you're doing, man. We love it, and hello to your parents, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
We'll see you on the tour.
We'll see you out there.
Sounds great. See you later, guys.
All right, have a good
Thanks,
night. See ya.
Dan.
And, of course, Dan Schlitter, your MPO champion from this weekend. How exciting. And
what a positive guy.
I know. And similar to what we saw from Kristen, just that positivity and the graciousness and humble, but yet so focused on what they're doing and accomplishing, and couldn't be happier to have him. And again, congratulations to both Dan and as well Kristen Tatar. Pretty incredible. Johnny, did you have the top 5? I mean, all those other people he beat. You know, do you got a top 5 from this weekend, including the tiebreak?
I suppose.
Kid.
If we're going to talk about those other people. Yes. So Dan tied Terry Roethlisberger at 28. And because Dan was on tonight, we know who won. Sorry, Terry. Maybe next time. Third place, Chandler Fry loses by 1 stroke down, missing. Unfortunately, he bogeyed hole 14. That was the previous bogey. He had a rough middle stretch of the course. He was up by
4
or 5 early in the round, and unfortunately just kind of hit that dry. A couple birdies from everybody else just really did him in, unfortunately. Fourth place, the young phenom Gannon Burr. Fifth place, coming back really strong with the final round. We were actually getting a little bit worried halfway through that round. Mo was thinking like, oh, God, Ezra, I'm going to have to send a camera over to him. He's like, he was shooting, he was 6 down through 8, and then he hit some par stretch, and we knew at that point, once he had those 4 pars in a row, that he could not really catch the leaders with what was remaining. But he shot an 11 down for 5th place, tied with Tim Barham and Gavin Rathbun, as well as Maddie Bell. So congratulations to those people. I'm sorry, Ezra Robinson. Ezra Aderhold took 9th place.
Yeah.
Different Ezra. My bad.
Yeah.
Because we were looking at Ezra Aderhold early on, as he was 7 down through 9, and he was the one actually we were starting to look at, but then he got
the other Ezra jumped onto the
correct
jumped up. We're like, what?
Yeah, Ezra Robinson took
Yes.
5th. Ezra Aderhold took 9th.
All right. Well, it was incredible. Again, hats off to the entire Delwood crew. There's so many positive things that constantly get talked about with regard to being down there, being on site, the grounds, the property, the club, the work that they all do, and all of that. I think that's so exciting that all of that managed to come through on camera and in the presence of the overall event this weekend. And I love that. And a big shout out too, because I know that this event from the get-go at the beginning of the year, I do not believe was scheduled to initially be a Silver Series event, or maybe it was scheduled to be. Either way, they had stepped up and did everything to put on the event. I guess I might be confusing with Des Moines, who was not originally scheduled to be an Elite
Correct.
Series, which we're going to see this weekend. But nonetheless, scheduled or otherwise, they knocked it out of the park, and that's ultimately what matters. So pretty cool to see. Yeah, overall awesome. And I think with that, I don't know if you have anything else pressing for the regular show. I was going to say we could
Just a few quick other results. We
Okay.
saw two other big events this weekend. We saw the Majestic, which is a couple hours to our west. Noah Meinsma wins that one. Spoiler alert for everyone waiting for coverage to come out from the disc golf guy here.
Who?
Yep, you. He comes from the second card, actually, and wins that event for 2,400, beating Kale, Ryan Sheldon, Double G, Colin Bailey, Kevin Jones, Nate Perkins, Mitchell Prevette, Louis Laporta, Derek Sarr, and the Bazooka, Albert Tom. So that was your MPO field. And in the FPO field, Jessica Weiss wins by 7 strokes over Ellen Widboom, Wisconsin native Lindsay Fish, Raven Klein, and Shelby Dutton. So congratulations to the Memorial people. And then we're going to move way out west over to Flagstaff, Arizona, the 23rd annual Aspen Sports Tribash Open, where the winner of that particular event was none other than Paul Ulibarri. Taking second place, Joel Freeman. Third place, Devin Owens. Fourth place, Jeremy Novak. Fifth place was a tie between AJ Herr and Frank Martinez. So congratulations to those. And the FPO field, Owen Scoggins takes that one by 16 strokes. Wow. Over Jen Allen. I want to look at those round ratings. 958, 976, and 982. She just kept getting better. Third place was Laura Alico. I'm going to go with Alico. Fourth place, Cassandra Caperon. So congratulations to the women who all cashed over at the Tribash.
Shout out in there as well. Pete Ulibarri
winning in Pro Masters 40 plus.
Was he scroll up? Was he officially listed as
no,
the tournament
he was
director
not
as
the
well?
tournament director.
Okay. Jacob McDonald.
Yep.
McDaniel, sorry. And Stan Johnson listed as tournament directors.
No, I did check that as well because
Certainly.
I thought Pete might have been the tournament director, and I was going to make a joke about Paul winning, but no, he was not the tournament director. So,
nonetheless, congrats to them. And then also, I know we quickly touched on it, and I did not get a chance to read the full article, but I think there was also an additional write-up and article for both the fact that we've seen Elaine King and Brian Schweberger take down their 300 victories both in the last couple of weeks. Schwebby, I think we'll have to have you on soon as well. We can talk a little bit about some of that action.
Last week on that.
Yeah, we did, but nice work out there. Yeah, just incredible to think about. I'm going to have to go read up on that article, even though I feel like we've been pumping these guys for the last 100 or so victories, which we're more than happy to do so. All right, Johnny, do you have anything else that is significant here for the regular show before we jump into our after show?
No, we can talk about a few things in the after show, disc golf related.
Okay, or non. Either way.
That's what we do. Stay tuned to the after show. We have a disc member box we're going to be giving away for one of our Patreon supporters. That's the disc member disc in a box right here. So we'll be giving this away to one of our Patreon supporters. You can support us at patreon.com/smashboxtv and be eligible to win something every week. And about once a month, we give away one of those disc store disc member boxes. Minimum value $40.
$400 million. All right, guys. We're going to call it. We thank you guys so much. We've had some incredible support, especially these last few weeks, of course, as the Worlds came to a close and talking last weekend with our champions. This weekend, very blessed. Both of our champions were graciously made themselves very available in a relatively short notice, so I can't say enough. But thank you to both Dan and Kristen for doing so, and we hope the whole world got to know a little bit more about them. I feel like we dug a little deeper than we're usually able to, and just that's what we love to do, and we're glad we could do so for you guys. So for Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, we're going to have as Johnny just said, we're going to have an after show here. We'll talk about things disc golf, non-disc golf related, some other odds and ends, and we're going to have the giveaway all coming to you. But this has been Smashbox TV's podcast 358. We'll see you in a few moments. Wow, in a FOMO, few blah, blah, blah. See you later. Step inside the Smashbox. Bye.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the Smashbox TV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/smashboxtv.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast 358's After Show.
Now, I don't know how to act right now because I'm clearly in the company of a celebrity. And I don't know if I should be asking for your signature. I don't know what to do, Terry Miller. For those of you that have been under a rock,
Yes.
Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, the disc golf guy, was announced as a member of the inaugural celebrity.
Get it straight.
I don't
Before you
even know
spit my name out, bro.
I don't even know what it's called. It's basically a celebrity event at Funky Farms with Ben Askren, and it's got a bunch of pros and a bunch of celebrities.
I'm trying to figure out who the pros are. Because
I wasn't sure which one you were going to fit into.
Yeah.
But I was on a phone call like a week or two ago.
Uh-huh.
And it was actually one that I don't think you had originally.
Yeah, I was on there eventually.
Oh, yeah, you
maybe.
did get it. And they were talking about who they're inviting, who the plans were, and suddenly I had chimed in. I was like, oh, hey, by the way, Terry was having a problem with your phone maybe at that point. And I was like, yeah, Terry's kind of wants to be there and this and that. And they're like, yeah. Ben Askren had recommended Terry as a celebrity. Not a player.
He didn't recommend. He demanded.
Sorry, he demanded you as a
totally
celebrity. So, which to that point, I kind of chuckled. But sure enough, you are listed as of today with the celebrities. Now,
an asterisk. Can I still get bumped?
I hope so. God, if they find someone better. I kind of wanted to sing one of these things is not like the other song. As I'm going through all the pictures of these guys, professional athletes. Celebrity chef,
professional athletes,
podcaster,
MMA.
huge podcaster, and you, the original disc golf blogger. I'm just saying, and here's what I will say: if there's some betting odds, I'm going to take whatever team you're on. You're clearly the best celebrity that's there.
I mean, we don't know that.
Yes, we do.
We don't know how good some of those other guys are.
I'm going to bet that you're the best celebrity out there, especially on a regular. Of course, you've played once. It's relatively pretty heavily wooded, most of it. I mean, there's a little distance there, but these are all like good-looking guys. And then there's this picture.
Me. What are you talking about?
There's if you haven't
what
done
are you trying
this,
to say?
If you haven't done this, go to their
Why'd
social
they put
media
me
page.
last?
I don't know. Look at the social media. They're all these like it's either a sports action shot or it looks like a beautiful shot that was filmed
from a studio,
some photographer
or a headshot,
and there's a picture of Terry standing there with a mic in the middle of like that. It just
Idlewild, the beautiful backdrop that is Jonesboro.
The picture doesn't seem to fit with the other ones.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I got a lot I'm trying to say, but
whatever. Well, in all honesty, I had no idea.
I know you didn't.
Just like we said, I was on the call. We were talking about the, how it was going to be handled, and it's not in a position where we can really do live over there, at least this year, and this is inaugural, and it's going to really be done in a social media perspective, and this is something that I think is kind of Ben Askren's brainchild himself, and it's literally in his backyard on his course. And as you said, Johnny, we were all talking about kind of the media plan.
Yeah, you wanted to go there and blog because you didn't know if you were going to be part of the media crew and this and that, and that's when it was literally broke to you and I that you were going to be the celebrity.
Yeah. So either way, I'm flattered, I'm humbled that to have really any part of it whatsoever. I think zero other details. Is there any other details? I tweeted at Ben tonight, earlier today, saying maybe he could join us on the show so we could get some details out of him. But I know virtually nothing about what's going on. I see it just by looking at what would be the graphic that was put out today. You just mentioned some of the players, some of the celebrities. But then on the player side, let me see if I can find that graphic again. I apologize. On the player side, at least it shows Ricky, Kat, Brody, Paige, Paul, Eagle, KJ, and Simon. So, nonetheless, star-studded cast, a bunch of incredible humans and players, and whatever comes of any of it, I'm humbled and should be a lot of fun.
So, when it's all decided, who gets who on a team, is the pro going to be disappointed that they got you?
Yeah, because they're like, we
Like,
see this schmuck every weekend.
I could have had anybody. I could have been getting cooking tips from
Andrew, yeah.
from Andrew. But no, I got the disc golf guy. Or are they going to be happy thinking, I got one of the better players here? Well, I mean, what's... I can't wait to ask. I will flat out ask whoever it is, because I will be there. I'm going to help you out with camera work and stuff, because you'll be busy playing, so you'll need someone to do the blogging and doing some recording. Whoever your partner is, I'm just going to ask him, like, really? This is the guy you got?
You got this schmuck?
You got the guy that asks you the dumb questions every single week?
I think the best question would be, wouldn't you love to have Terry from like 2007, Terry's skill sets? That would have been a little bit more impressive, but I don't know. Somebody also had mentioned it, and I thought, man, I should probably find my bag, wherever that is right now. I think I have it currently in storage, but I should probably find that, and maybe or maybe not, I'll throw a few discs before. I don't know when I would. I won't this weekend. So yeah, Monday's the practice day.
Just show up at Funky Farms and be like, Ben, I'm just making a run. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get a quick round in on the course. So, yeah, it again should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. I know there was a lot of questions. I wish we had more answers, and I'm sincere when I say I don't know many more details. I wish we had more answers to share them with you. I know it was asked if spectators could be there. I don't believe so.
No.
Again, this is Ben's, like, literally his backyard. It's his house. So I don't think there's going to be full-blown, spectator options. I know there's going to be a couple of camera crews and blogging and kind of more of a quick hit social media kind of attack to it, is what I understand.
Yeah, this will not be live.
This will not be live, and then GK, as listed, will be doing some probably overall wrap-up, however it was worded.
Like a post-production kind of wrap-up. I know they do a lot of the
GK
the
will be
skins.
helping cover the doubles round, and you will be able to find exclusive post-produced Pro-Am content later next week on Disc Golf Network, and then it shows a few of the names. So, and I think there's going to be a few other, I would love to see, selfishly, I would love to see a few other skills types challenges, maybe a little bit of a separate putting component to it, or a separate approach or accuracy type component that's not just maybe the raw score of playing golf. I think that would be kind of fun to have a few other events that could get tied into it. But yeah, I guess we'll see. I think for the first time in a while, I might actually be nervous when I got to go out and do something disc golf related. So we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. That's what I can tell you. I will not have a lot of sleepless nights upcoming putting in my garage, because for starters, tomorrow I leave for Des Moines. I'll be in Des Moines Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday night, as after the last putt and interview are done, I make a 6.5 hour trek back to Wisconsin. And so I'll arrive in the middle of the night coming back home. Monday happens, and then Tuesday, it's game time. So, no, there won't be much practice. Anyway, yes, speed putting competition I would like. That's one thing that I might be able to maybe perform well at. So, nonetheless, yeah, should be fun. So thank you to anyone involved.
Woo!
Who's going to be my partner is the question.
That's what I'm sorry, whoever it is. I apologize ahead of time, regardless of what happens. I'm sorry you have to deal with Terry, no matter what it is. Yeah.
I'm just going to bring stacks and stacks of discs. I'm going to be the celebrity, but I'm going to be bringing stacks of discs to have all of our pros signing.
I was thinking like you pull like an old Rico where you just have like this old bag that's huge with like 30 discs, and then you have me carrying a bag of discs for you too, and just go through and make sure they're all like collectible classic discs, like CE Firebird, 2016 Sexton Firebird, First Run Comet,
some bar stamp buzzes,
or
and
go the other way. Fill your whole bag with Ontario rocks, because just nothing but Ontario rocks, and just be like, I like one disc,
and then I only can throw it once, and then I set it aside. Like,
I have the empty bag, and then I put it from the full right into the empty bag.
I'm gonna be working some fools out there. Probably not.
Yeah.
Either way, should be fun. Gosh, I had something else that was totally unrelated to anything with that, and I lost my train of thought entirely. But
a couple other announcements that were made this week. Other than that, Dgbt did announce a broadcast contract with ESPN 2, I believe. They're doing the Portland Open right now. There's some passing around of footage at this point with Joe Canale from Bluefoot, who helped do some of the other stuff for ESPN last year. So that's happening. I think they're going to be doing the tour finale. I don't know if it's a 3 or 4 event. I've heard both things, but I know Portland and tour finale, and there'll probably be 1 or 2 in between there. So look forward to that. And Junior Worlds started up. Technically, I think it started today or tomorrow. It might start tomorrow, but some of the field events and things were being done over the last few days. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the PDGA's page, and they'll have all that good information.
Yeah, I think check in and maybe the and we apologize that we're not on top of it more, but I believe check in and players meeting started tonight over at the Junior World Championships. I'm gonna sorely miss the entire event in that I've been there the last 2 years that it had taken place, and that's where I've met the likes of Kat Murch and Gannon Burr and just the Castrita sisters, all 3 of them, and just so many incredible competitors that have not only performed well there, and some are still there, but some that have performed and then gone on to become top-tier professionals and contenders in the professional ranks as well throughout the year. So best of luck to all of the juniors out there. Man, if there's a way, maybe I could find a way to check in with some of the people over at the Junior Worlds as this week goes on. It might be a little late at night after we get done with our stuff, but I would love to do that because I certainly wish them the best over there.
Sounds great. And then we had a whole bunch of disc approvals this week. The main ones that I'm not going to go through them all, but the big ones that everyone was kind of going back and forth about are the new Discmania discs. The P2, the DD3, and I believe the MD3 were all approved for their new molds. So if you have any of the old molds, I would suggest just holding on to them. Take them out of your bag. Sell them to Terry very cheap. Or me. Reach out to me, John at Smashbox TV. I'll buy them and then resell them to Terry probably at a nice little upsell. But anyway, yeah. So if you're the new Discmania discs are approved from the PDGA, so they are now everyone that got them in the mail in the last day or two. You can start throwing them officially at PDGA tournaments.
Yeah. Exciting stuff on that end. Quick unrelated to disc golf news, we certainly should touch on for the first time in our lives, because the last time the Milwaukee Bucks found themselves in the
they lost tonight though
NBA Finals was 1974, 4 years before you and I existed.
I thought we were going to get when we were younger. I thought we were going to see it with Ray Allen and Big Dog and Sam Cassell, but we didn't. We didn't see
so
it.
Much.
We were close, but we just didn't have it. But now, Middleton, Drew, Giannis, we got a team. Unfortunately, they lost tonight to the Suns.
Yes, first
game one
tonight of the NBA Finals, and
I mean it's tough to beat the Suns.
Did Giannis play?
Yes, he did. It was announced about a half hour before the game started that he would play. So I'm assuming he's at good enough. They're close to full health. So hopefully there's, they wouldn't put him in there for no reason at all. But it's going to be tough. And I think someone on the board said home field court advantage is going to be a big decider because both teams have rambunctious crowds.
Okay.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it all goes down.
Okay. Well, yeah, as we said, not something we've seen before in our lifetime here.
No.
So good luck.
It's I was gonna say we haven't seen a lot of championships in Wisconsin in general in the pro sports. Brewers just barely missed out a few years ago to making it to the World Series. The Packers 10 years ago now.
My gosh, has it been that long?
I think it's been that long, and maybe 11 years ago. Last time they were in the Super Bowl, they won. Yeah, it's yeah.
All right, so a few questions on the board, and for those who maybe are new, maybe you're not, but in the after show, not only can we sometimes sidetrack or largely veer off the tangent of disc golf conversation into just about any other conversations, including music, movie, news, pop culture, whatever, other sports. I also saw a comment, though, come in a moment ago asking if Paige Pierce was at the Junior Worlds. I don't believe that she is this week, as she is signed up for competing in Des Moines. So I would assume she's in Des Moines probably by now. Or maybe she stopped in Emporia and was able to say hi or be part, have something to do with the opening ceremonies or something today. I don't believe that was the case. I think she has been spending some time here in Wisconsin, actually, where the Silver Cup is taking place this weekend. So we have a number of solid players that are playing at the Silver Cup. I think there's also quite a few players at an event staying in Michigan this weekend where they're going to be competing. And then obviously, I feel like if you're not in one of those two places, you're probably playing in the Des Moines event this upcoming weekend, which will be exciting, as we kind of said with Kristen. This is the first time that we're seeing this course, and I think there's been a few changes, but we're really seeing this course on such a large scale as we did way back in 2004, World Championships both you and I were at way back in the day, which it feels like eternity ago because it kind of was. It was a full 17 years, so it's pretty crazy to think it was that long ago since we've been out there. Okay, Lee says, we live for the sidetracking. Well, along with the sidetracking, and what I was saying, though, is the fact that we also love to interact with the chat board during our after show. So if you've got something you want to bring to us, please do so. Punch it into their chat, and we'll see if we can answer any questions out there.
You've got questions, we've got answers.
Or we make up.
Yeah, we do.
Darren had asked, what's Milwaukee's MLS team?
We don't have an MLS team.
Yeah, we kind of famously had. Do we still have the Milwaukee Wave?
Yeah, it's an indoor.
Okay.
It's an indoor soccer game. It's soccer team.
I'm a big fan.
Clearly, I usually go to 2 or 3 games a year for the indoor soccer. It's a fun family event. Kids always love it. It's usually pretty exciting. The Wave is a very good indoor soccer team. I don't know technically what league they participate in, but they've got a few championships under their belt. I mean, it's professional, but it's not one of the big sports. We also have our minor league hockey team, the Admirals, who have gone through a couple stints of being very, very good. But like any minor league team, usually if your team is that good, they start getting plucked off for the majors. So we've seen a couple of the Admirals go up to, I think, the Predators. I forget. I think they might have changed who their major league team is for, who their players move up to in the NHL. I can't remember offhand. I'm not that big of a hockey fan. I'll go to maybe one Admirals game a year, just if we get tickets. It's another fun event. I'm a much bigger fan of the indoor soccer. So
that's fast paced and I really do enjoy watching.
It's a lot.
I've
of
been
fun.
to a few of those. Just it's been a while. All right, I'm sorry. I'm also scanning through what we saw for what we were talking about earlier, a few results, some things coming in for the distance competition and the putting competitions and some of those games over at the World. Also,
for those of you that weren't listening or didn't
paying attention,
didn't download them, they should have showed up in your blog feed or your podcast feed for Smashbox. I took all the interviews that Terry did for the board candidates, and I converted them over to the MP3 format, which then I uploaded it in pairs to our podcast feed. So if you are listening to this in audio, you should have seen yesterday morning 4 podcasts come up. Check your podcast settings. Sometimes your podcast catcher will limit it to a certain amount, but if they were all released at the same time yesterday morning, so if you're interested, make sure you listen to those interviews that Terry did. They're about anywhere from 15 to 20, 25 minutes a piece with each candidate. Kind of get a general feeling for each person you will hopefully be voting for in the PDGA elections, which are now open to vote. So take a listen, figure it out, vote.
Yeah, and you'll love this. I didn't share this with you yet.
Huh?
Our friend, PDGA 18078.
Wait, say that again?
PDGA 18078.
18078. I don't know that.
Okay, Mike Schwieger.
Oh, Schwieger.
Who is somewhat removed from, he's very removed from competitive disc golf. He very occasionally goes out and will play now from time to time, but certainly not the, week in, week out, every weekend player he used to be. He said Saturday he woke up flipping through his TV and YouTube, and he came across the board candidate interviews, and he sat and watched them. Him and his wife started to sit down and watch them. And here's what I'll say. This isn't, I'm not trying to give a plug for me or the PDGA for thinking of the collaboration, but how random. This is a gentleman who may or may not be current this year, but the fact that there was another platform that he was, I don't even know if he might subscribe to us, but he kind of randomly came across these candidate interviews that I had posted to my channel, and then he sat and watched them. We had actually then a great conversation about what he thought of a few of them and whatnot. Of course, I'm not going to necessarily share all of those details here. My personal thoughts, I don't feel like that's right for me, especially as the guy that had interviewed them. But I will provide a little additional insight. First of all, thank you to the PDGA. That was a really fun collaboration. I think I said it last week. I learned something about all 8 of those people. Some I knew before, some I didn't. But regardless of how well I already did or didn't know them, I certainly learned more about all of them. They essentially had the same questions. 7 out of the 8 questions were identical, or 8 out of the 9 questions were identical. And those were written up by someone within the PDGA. I had nothing to do with the construction of those questions. And I think Steve Hill did something very similar last year with the PDGA's podcast at that time. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of filling that role, so to speak. But I had nothing to do with the actual questions. I did like them, and I did like that they wanted me to apply them consistently, of course, across all 8 candidates. So you could compare and contrast some of the answers from one candidate to another, and then they all had one question that was a little bit more specific to something they put on their bio. So I hope that you guys enjoyed them, and then thank you, Johnny. He took it upon himself to take then the audio format, as he said, and throw them onto our Smashbox links, just as yet another opportunity. If a candidate wants to go out and share the links, whether it's the video or the audio version, that's one more chance for them to kind of spread their platform and their message and people to get to know them. So I think what we should do for the rest of the month after tonight is check in with the PDGA, and maybe earlier on Tuesdays, we'll get a quick update for what it looks like for voter turnout, what it's been. I don't know if we've had 2% turnout already, 19% turnout, 7%. I have no idea. I would just, I don't care or know where the candidates are at. I just want to know what our overall voter turnout has been at a week-by-week status. So if anyone's listening from the PDGA, that would just save me an email to ask that. That would be great because I'm lazy. But anyway, hope you guys are consuming those. And it's funny because someone on the board moments ago just said, I wish they were longer. I wish we could get to know these people even more.
Reach out to them.
Yeah, for starters, reach out. Maybe put a comment in the YouTube section. They may or may not be, monitoring that. I'm trying to stay, not bipartisan. I'm trying to say impartial to anything that is written in the YouTube comments, but it's worth a shot there. And then other people have said, I don't got time for that. I'm not watching that. I'm not listening to that.
You can listen to it at faster speed. If you don't have time, you can watch them on YouTube at 1.5, 1.75, 2 speed, just like you can on the podcast.
Yeah,
just
so you can burn through them much quicker if you can get used to that. Burn through them quicker.
Each one of the podcasts is. I grabbed 2 of them, and I know they're not all the same length, but it seemed like almost each one was 45 minutes when you paired up the 2 together, and they were done. They were done in alphabetical order by first name because that's how Terry handed them to me. So there was no bias as far on my side. I haven't listened to the interviews yet. I just literally paired them together, released them all at once. So that everyone could have a chance to download and listen.
Yeah, so please go out and, consume those. Hopefully you find a little additional insight. And if you don't have answers, you reach out to them on their socials, find them on the PDGA bio page, whatever the case might be. And if you want to have a continued conversation, that might be a good way to do so. But people talk about change. People talk about wanting things to be different. You got to vote. That's the starting point.
I'm just writing
every
people. Time. First of all, I'm gonna write in Dan Schlitter.
Good call.
He should.
Super good guy. Yep.
It was a great interview tonight.
Yeah, he certainly was. I don't know that he wants that role. I mean, I feel like he would have signed up for it if he wanted it. But
I'm just kidding.
But yes, Dan certainly was great to have tonight. There's some people making their requests out on the board as well, as you guys should. I love seeing it. I see somebody post and say, "Oh, I like this candidate. Here's the 5 reasons why," and then somebody rebuts that or whatever. Like those are the conversations we should be. You guys should all be having. Do not write me in.
It's a waste of a vote.
Yeah, that's a waste of a vote. I saw somebody explicitly, they picked their 2 candidates and then they said they were going to write in Brody and I.
In general,
of course you can.
Worthless.
Yeah, in this case, I feel and unless there's a concerted effort, maybe. And that's not just I would say that of any write-in, but I don't want to say that either, though. I guess because write-ins are there for a reason, but.
Correct.
If you're not running for the position and you haven't made any inclination that you want the position, it seems kind of like a waste then to write someone in that hasn't shown any interest.
Correct.
Unless he has, and I don't know.
I don't believe he has.
So he did say our podcast check-in with Nate Heinold last week. Well, I don't know if he said it. The meme implied the gif that we tiptoed. I think he also said the interview was horrible. I'm not sure about that. I think that was his phrasing. By all means, if you guys want to continue to research more, again, vote for the people that you want, and then also continue to ask the questions in a good, kind, polite, non-violent or accusatory way of any and all. All the information for our PDGA is out there, and we can certainly say that we would love to have more consistent check-ins and updates with any PDGA reps. And I feel like that's been an ongoing offer forever, and we should push for that more and more. So looking forward to checking in with them more. Dane asks...
I was going to say this. So last night, my family went a mile or 2 up the road to a park where we were watching some fireworks. We were there with a family of some families of ours.
They're not listening. They don't know how you're defining them.
They're not. And suddenly some other families show up that I barely know. They're kind of periphery friends, I would say. Periphery friends.
Wow. I hope they're not listening either.
And trust me, they're not. But one of the guys was a Boy Scout leader in my son's Boy Scout troop, which he's no longer part of now. He's doing swimming kind of full time. And he was like, "Oh, hey John, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, good. Then he's like, "Did you see the big disc golf shot that was on?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude, I got a friend of mine. He plays the disc thing all the time. Like that's what he loves to do." And then my wife chimes in. She's like, "Just ask him if he knows John." All right. And then he goes, yeah. He forwarded like everybody that clip. And I was kind of like, I was there. I was helping cut that and shoot that. He's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, we do all of that." And he's like, "Wow. Huh." that's pretty cool, huh? I'm like, yeah. Thanks, Wayne. He's like, all right, cool. Have a great night, man. Good night. So just funny how, if I'm sure a lot of people in our community and every, are all around the disc golf got friends of theirs who knew, they're their disc golf person. To a bunch of people who don't play, the one guy who plays is their disc golf guy, and they probably were all over like, I saw your disc golf thing on TV or whatever. So that happened to me as well this yesterday night. So thought it was very humorous that I kind of was like, yeah, I had a part in that actually. It wasn't just I did see it live, but
It was a thing. You made it happen.
It was a thing. I did not make that happen. I helped.
Okay.
I
Well,
helped.
James made it.
James technically made it happen. I just helped people see it. That's all I did.
Before I go back to what Dane had asked, real quick, I was literally just perusing through Twitter and asking you shall receive, Johnny. 7% of the votes are in via the PDGA. They apparently tweeted that 6 hours ago, which I'll readily admit I don't believe it or not. I don't scour every inch of everywhere on the internet every second.
That's me.
Then you should have chimed in minutes ago when I asked for it.
I don't think, to be honest, I don't know if I follow the PDGA on Twitter.
Ouch, you traitor. Anyway, they released 6 hours ago saying decent start, but a long way to go. Voting in the PDGA elections ends July 31st, and it says 7% of the ballots are received. Check your email, cast your vote. That seriously is really funny and coincidental. That I was just asking for that info.
You were going to ask something about what Dane.
Dane had posted on here. Can you give us a little history of the Des Moines Challenge? Has it ever been on coverage before? Well, yes.
Yes, the Des Moines Challenge itself has been. Yeah.
I can't speak to the event other than it's been around for just shy of forever in some capacity. I say that because for many years in the month of May, I had often run the Greater Milwaukee Open or Rumbletown or whatever in Milwaukee. And that was also frequently when a large-scale event, being the Des Moines Challenge, was often scheduled for. And way back in the day, you used to have certain perimeters or restrictions, mileage restrictions for how close two really large-scale events could be. And so you had to be cognizant of other events, even in other states. Those restrictions have shrunk considerably because we have so many more players and so many more events that accommodate said players. So it has been around for quite a few years. And it was probably, I want to say it was 3 or 4 years ago, I worked with one of the tournament directors at the time. I think it was Jay. I'm sorry if I don't recall. I think it was Jay had reached out, and we talked about getting at least like some final round coverage of the event that year, post-production. I had gone over there. I think I got exactly that, final round post-production coverage. I think like a Terry Roethlisberger was maybe even on the card, some names we heard earlier in the night. So if you go out to my YouTube channel, you could find some stuff. Now, unfortunately, it's useless because they completed that year's event at Walnut Ridge, which is another phenomenal course in the Des Moines area. It was another one that got used for Worlds in 2004, but this weekend they're playing Pickard. Now, is there coverage of an event that's taken place at Pickard? You're going to have to Google the YouTubes quicker than I can. I'm going to guess so.
The 2020 Wanderlust Open,
well, there you go.
Final round, front nine MPO by GK Pro with Earhart, Roethlisberger, Castro, and Burr.
Well, there you go.
So at Indianola, Iowa, Pickard Park. So if you'd like to go check out what you're more than likely going to see, GK Pro is the way to go.
Yes. Or if you want the 2017 not relevant course, you go to see where I had AJ Risley, Kelvin Heimberg, Ben Calloway, Alex Geisinger, and James Conrad. There is an incredible card.
Yeah, I mean, by today's standards, yes, right now. Of all people, like, Geisinger's the quote-unquote unknown guy. Because he's I mean, last year or 2 years ago, he was kind of making a little run at touring, and I haven't seen him much this year, but he's a very good regional player. So
yeah, he's not playing much. But yeah, it has AJ Risley, Kelvin Heimberg, Ben Calloway. As we've said now, I've known Ben forever, including this coverage way back in 2017. And then now, obviously, 2021 world champ James Conrad. So, yeah, just as a little throwback, go consume that.
Yep. And the 2017 U.S. Masters Round 1 Part 1, Carson, Holtz, and Schultz at Pickard Park.
So,
yeah, so there's a few out there.
We can Googles.
I can Googles the YouTube.
Yes, thank you. I think somebody clarified that Jay Greenwood was in fact the tournament director. So I appreciate that. All right, I see some other things.
Or you can look up Chuck Kennedy's YouTube and just watch the 2004 Disc Golf World Championships.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go watch that. All right, reading a few notes from the board. Lee says, I've seen that DM Challenge TD has been trying to break into Silver Series for a long time. Great chance for them to make an impression and maybe cement Iowa event as a permanent tour event. It was said before, Iowa has such an incredible history. That's the best word I'm looking for. Has an incredible history, long-standing events, great courses, great people. I mean, I'm going to selfishly say I feel like we have a lot of those pockets in the Midwest. You find that in Minnesota, you find that in Illinois, you can find that in Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan. I mean, all of those, and there's others, of course, but Johnny and I being, of course, very biased toward the area in which we grew up in the tournaments that we've been seeing for the last 25 years. There's some incredible courses and incredible golf and tournaments to take place. Rudy on the board says, Dan Schlitter is the human disc golf needs. Bird Brain is amazing, and you are guaranteed a good time if his name is in front of it. That sounds like 100% correct. Carney says, cut to camera 5, JVD. Was there a hot camera or mic or something for 2 seconds this weekend that I heard of?
Yeah.
Is that the reference here?
Oh, no. That was just because I was saying how last week how I was, during the big Conrad shot. And again, this guy, I wasn't going to go through the whole spiel like we would with you guys, but the cut to camera 5 was just when I couldn't get to camera 2. Camera 1 had lost him, so it was just cut to camera 5 because that's the wide shot. But yeah, there was a real quick hot mic issue last week with Charlie at the very end of FPO. We went to a little replay package after everything finished up, and he thought his mic was down because we had told him earlier in the week some of our bumpers are turned off, but that's not exactly a bumper. It's a replay, which audio's on, and I think he just kind of gave a wow kind of, and I don't know if he said wow, like, I don't know exact phrasing because I barely heard it. All I remember doing is like yelling, you're hot, and muting his mic. So just to make sure he wouldn't say it. Not that Charlie would say anything offensive, but he definitely just kind of let out a woof kind of thing. So.
All right. People continuing to talk about how great Iowa is per capita and such. Yes, of course. Wildcat, also a course when people think of Iowa disc golf, Wildcat always comes in the mix and is discussed, rightfully so. As you guys continue to talk about that in the board. Disc Blaster really, as always, skirting the lines of getting somehow banned. Bragging about getting banned or challenged on another platform, on the Twitter platform, and I feel like he's been just skirting that line most of tonight as usual. You're going to hit it on the wrong night, Disc Blaster, and it's going to be your last night. And then you're going to have to create a whole new user account, and yeah, just keep skating. All right, Wildcat. Yes, a lot of people talking about. Agreed about the Midwest. Thank you, Lee. As a general curiosity, should a candidate for the board have a minimum amount of years as a current board member, volunteer time, or TD experience? I'm just going to generically, you could point that to some of the candidates and such or whatever. My personal opinion is no. I feel like, and I guess I'll use a specific example, selfish one of my own. Back in early 2000s, there was a community right next to where I lived, and I wanted to put in a disc golf course. the park and rec director at the time had said, hey, this sounds like a great opportunity. You know, we'd love to have you explore some of the parks and the facilities around here. Go find one that might work out, and you know, that's how we'll get the ball rolling. I surveyed a number of properties. I ended up finding one that was going to create a 9-hole, beginner-friendly, super pitch and putt, like beginner-friendly course in every possible way. That was the intent of it, and it was what it was 100% limited to. And then from there, they said, okay, well, now we're going to put you in contact with the person that runs the Park and Rec department, and then they oversee a youth organization, and that youth organization comes up with other activities for kids to do that, you know, keep them out of trouble and off drugs and all this other stuff. And at that point, I was instantly became basically a volunteer board member of this youth organization, of which I had never heard of, never been a part of. And I really only had one specific goal in mind, which was to get a disc golf course in that community. And then I got roped into that. And I think finally 12 years later, I withdrew from being on that board. And I had so many other incredible experiences. I'd like to think I was helpful and impactful and was a useful asset to that board, even though I came in with one goal in mind that had nothing to do with the rest of what they were doing, and that was to put disc golf in. And that got put in within a year or two. And to this day, 13, 16 years later, we're still hosting an annual disc golf event at that property. So was I qualified to be on that board? Probably not by some standards. Long answer long. I don't think that there needs to be a minimum time. Does certain experience and familiarity with certain components of the game and the nuances of the game and the people and the manufacturers, does all of that help? Yeah, of course I think it helps. But you could turn that around, flip that on its head, and say, hey, we have a brand new, fresh set of eyes and ears and experiences that are going to join the board that are bringing you a completely different perspective. So,
Fresh blood.
That's another way to look at it.
If they're not good, it's only 2 years.
3, I think.
Is it 3? I thought it was 2.
It's 3.
Is it 3? It's only 3 years.
And if they're terrible, they either will possibly voluntarily quit. They could get kicked off. I mean, there's things that could happen if they're absolutely terrible. But and then at the same time too, they're just one person within a
larger group.
A larger group of 8. So anyway, I think that's my answer to that. Fresh blood, as they said. And yes, say no to drugs, say yes to disc golf. I like that. Yeah, and again, I know you guys are talking about a particular candidate or a couple of them, and that's I think all of our candidates have something to bring to the table. It's a matter of, does that resonate with you? Does that align with you? Or is there someone that's just too much like you that you really feel like, no, let's get a different perspective in here, because I'd like to see someone that's not just part of within my echo chamber. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can look at the overall picture there. Brian asks, how many courses have you designed? Somewhere around 35-ish. Most of them have been on schools, have been whether it's like a church project or a camp or a lot of middle schools, some high schools, junior highs, that type of thing. There's been a few that have been really great pieces of property that I feel like we've turned into good courses. And then a majority of them have just not been the property that...
They're beginner courses, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like 9-hole introduction, or maybe like a real simple 18-hole.
Yeah, I mean, we all know. I think we know.
Course.
Yeah. There's a couple of those.
I know. I'm not even joking. I wasn't joking.
I was like, did I? But yeah. There's a couple of properties that I worked with the local municipality, the Milwaukee County Parks District, and I worked with their persons with disability department, as I think their official term, and we put in 2 different 3-hole courses that are wheelchair accessible. They're not fully ADA, and there's some some things that stipulate what that makes, so they couldn't necessarily deem it that. But one of them specifically interweaves along with a paved path, and it's all within a few hundred feet of each other, and that it was the exact target market or demographic or usefulness that they were going for. And another one that was designed also has 3 holes that are laid out.
I gave it 1 star on
yeah,
UDisc.
thank you.
These
3 baskets suck.
I didn't have to pull out my destroyer once. I don't understand.
Like, oh gosh, that's exactly why I hate people.
I know.
These 3 baskets would be so much better off, making a 21 hole course elsewhere. It's like they're not for you, jackass.
I know.
Like,
We've
I know, yeah, there's been those opportunities. There's been a lot of really incredible opportunities. I've worked with the Special Olympics. I've worked with the Senior Olympics in Wisconsin. I've worked with Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, lots of church and camp groups and everything in between. So throughout all these years, and a lot of park and rec departments.
Matthew Gilbert asks, when you design a course for, say, a city park, does the city pay for it? Is it out of pocket? Sponsors? Fundraisers? The answer to that is any and all of those things at times. Sussex, we had fundraiser. We had local businesses pay for holes and T signs, and there was that. I mean, sometimes the city will just flat out pay for baskets. If you can, sell them on the advantages of a course. Sometimes you go to local, very rarely is it out of the designer's pocket.
Yeah.
Unless it's a personal course. But
yeah, and I'll just, to touch on that quickly, things have changed. Back when we were putting in courses 15, 20, 25 years ago, almost every course, maybe that's a strong word, phrasing. Many courses would require a local enthusiast to go make a pitch or plea to a parks board to say, hey, we'd love to put in disc golf. You have this piece of property or you have this park. Can we please come put in disc golf? Ideally, the local park board or the city or village board or whatever would approve it. And then often that person or that committee or that club would then have to go out and generate and raise funds, whether they ran a few other tournaments or they had something else to do to raise the funds, or they would go to local businesses and say, hey, Ace Hardware in Sussex, Wisconsin, will you give us $500 or $750 or $1,000, and your name will be permanently displayed on this T sign, and then you go out and round up 18 sponsors. The majority of the courses that I had worked on included doing just that, of, hey, you first you ask for permission, you get permission, you get the approval, and then you go and you try and round up. And sometimes it might be a couple individuals or one individual that says, hey, I'd like to buy a hole for $500, or my company would love to sponsor that for $750. And then you generate all of that revenue to then purchase the course and then install it. That was how, I was going to say hundreds, if not thousands of our courses have been put in. Like that mentality now shifting with the growth of the sport and the overall acceptance and the awareness of our sport. Now we're getting to a point where a parks department may just call me up out of the blue. Hey, I've seen you at a park and rec show, or we Googled disc golf in Wisconsin and we came across your name. Can you come design us a course? And they budget for it. And that has been the biggest shift, one of the biggest shifts that most people have no idea is happening. That's one of the biggest shifts in all of disc golf over the last 20 years, is going from begging and pleading and doing all the fundraising and basically creating a donation situation and self-funding, to now parks department saying, oh, we have that in our 3 or our 5-year plan, and we're all budgeted for it. We're budgeting for a course designer. We're budgeting for amenities. We're budgeting for maybe some grading and or some seeding and plantings and clearing, all of those things. And I get excited just thinking about where we've transitioned from of begging and pleading to now a lot of municipalities coming to designers or design firms or clubs and organizations and saying, hey, we want this. What does it take for us to get it there? And I can't say it enough. It's one of the most exciting things about our sport, and has really reduced, we'll say, stress and
Certainly.
and hurdles, because they're planning for it. So
Lindsay Westberg asks if I've ever designed a course or had any interest in trying it. No. I know I've gone to a few sites with you, barely any input, usually just to check out a site like, oh, this could be a cool place for a park or something along those lines. I wouldn't be qualified, as I've never done it. If anyone were to hand me even the remotely nice land, I would immediately hand it off to someone like you or Tom Jenkins or Pat Blake or something like that, because I'm not qualified for that. I could, if probably nuts and bolts, do like an easy 3-hole beginner 180-foot course. I mean, just putting something in land and helping someone out that way. But even with that, I would probably still be like, all right, Terry, this is what I laid out. Does this look okay? Like, all right, no one's going to get hit here. Park's over here. Yeah, I think that's fine. Something along those lines. It's just not my... It's nothing I've really been super interested in personally. So I've got other interests. Question: did you have anything to do with the Poplar Creek Elementary School? They've got like six or 8 holes in their field. You can't see it on this satellite, but I drive past it to drop my son off at the New Berlin High School for swimming. And when I drive past it, like this little field here, when I drive here, I see, there's baskets littered in this field. And I keep thinking, like, how do they not kill each other?
Man, I got to warm up for the Pro-Am. I'm heading over.
Head over, man, because there's
Bust
at least
out my my Firebirds and my Trespasses and my Destroyers.
There's about 6 to 8 baskets in a 1/4-acre field. It's not big,
bro.
And every time I drive by, I think I see another basket. I'm like, oh, there's another one there.
I'm gonna find it on UDisc, and I'm gonna go downvote it. I don't care if it's made for 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
If it doesn't do me good,
it looks like it would be the world's best putting practice area. That's some baskets are on hills, some are in flat area. They're all relatively widespread apart, but not wide enough to throw. Like that would be a great practice area from what I've seen. And I've been meaning to stop by and just kind of throw some discs around when I drop my son off at swimming. But
and again, it's great to see so many more schools adding courses when they have the land or usually the perimeter of the school. Boundaries and whatnot. Sometimes schools will be like, oh, we've got this great, can we put it on like the soccer field or the football practice football field? Like, no, you don't want to put anchors in there. We don't want people throwing frisbees around. And also there's no challenge out there. So no, that's not where we're going to want it. So, all right.
Let's do a giveaway away.
Yeah, you
Terry
do that
Miller.
giveaway. We got stuff to give away, folks.
We do, because
we're giving away 9 baskets. We're going to take from the school and send them to you because you deserve them, damn it.
We're going there tonight, middle of the night, just going to take their basket.
We're going to jack those baskets, and I'll drive them over to your house.
Dude, school's out right now anyway. It's summer.
So if you want to just borrow them for the summer.
They're not even using them. Gosh.
Good idea.
Anyway, disc member. Thank you for being a supporter of Smashbox for a long time now. Honestly, I don't even know how long. We've given away a lot of these boxes. If you're interested in becoming a disc member supporter, you can sign up for a monthly disc, and it feels like maybe there's a T-shirt in here. I don't know for sure. I haven't looked. But usually they come with a disc, a T-shirt, a mini, some sort of coupon, maybe some artwork, whatever. I think one of them once had a car in there. I don't know. But anyway, minimum of $40 value. It costs you about $25 a month. Let them know Smashbox sent you if you do decide you're going to sign up. So thank you very much. We have 199 people eligible for our giveaway tonight, Terry.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. So I'm curious, what number do you think we should pick?
Wow. What are we on? 358. Dan Schlitter's won the Clash of the Canyons 2 out of the last 3 years, 2 out of 2 plus out of 3, and it was the Clash of the Canyons. 5's the number. 5's got to be the number.
5's your number?
Yeah, that's how you arrive at
All right,
that.
so
all day.
Right now,
all day.
I sorted them by address. So half of them have an address, and they're sorted, and everyone who doesn't have an address is underneath of them. So just so everyone knows.
I don't care.
I know.
I do care.
You ask.
I ask
sometimes.
every week.
You ask every week how I sort them. All right, so our 5 numbers. Remember, you're only going to get the 5th number is the winner. So our first number 183. Second number,
Ooh-wee.
141. Third number, 89. Fourth number, 83. This is the most exciting part of our podcast. The fifth number is 32.
32.
32. So I need to scroll
She's
up to the
only
top.
32.
32 is Christopher Meyer from Springfield, Illinois.
Oh.
So congratulations.
Dang it. I was almost in Springfield last night.
Were you?
Yeah, I drove down to Peoria and back. 3 in the morning, because that's what I'm doing. I got nothing better to do with my time.
Clearly. So I do have something else. I know I talked about it last week, and I told someone to remind me, and none of you people did.
No.
But I have it up here. There's a gentleman by the name of James Morton who has an app out on the App Store, I believe, called Practice Putt Disc Golf and Practice Putt Disc Golf Pro for Android and iOS. I've got some codes that I can give away. So I don't know how I want to give these away, Terry, but if there's anyone on the board that's interested in this app, I believe I've got 5 codes for Apple, 5 codes for Android. Let me know. I'd love to give some out. He gave us some free codes and said, hey, love the podcast.
Here, let me punch in all 10 of them, see if they work.
And so he spun up some codes for us. So hopefully they still work. They're, but Darren LeMay says he's in. Darren, I can send you one.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'd love to give at least 1 or 2 of them away tonight. If you're...
Yeah, let's do this. Get at us. Get at us if you are looking. I mean, they could reach out to you or I on Facebook, ASAP, and then we'll send some over. I'm guessing it won't be so quick that you'll exhaust all of those immediately, but maybe they will. But reach out to us. Shoot us a message either on our Smashbox page or to Terry or Johnny on Facebook directly, and we can hand some of these codes out for you guys. We would love to do so. Ryan Pilcher says, that's probably Chris Meyer, who no longer lives in Springfield. Gotta update that address. Yes. So, Ryan, do us a favor, because you're a super smashy extraordinaire. Reach out to Chris directly and tell Chris to send me an email.
Yeah, and have him update
with his
address
address
in Patreon.
And have him fix his address in Patreon. But, yes, we would love to make sure that we can get it out to him as well. And I'm going to send a shout-out. Dylan, Dustin, and John all hiked over to Minnesota this weekend to capture some bonus footage that will eventually be put together. I'm going to have some bonus Minnesota Majestic footage. Thanks to those guys being overachievers is really the best way to say that. So thank you to those guys so much. Big shout out to them. All right. Ben says...
I'm going to test something once.
Okay. Ben says, thanks so much for having Dan on. He is an incredible disc golf representative for the Chicagoland area and a great person in general. So happy for him to take down the Clash. I couldn't agree more. It was great to have him. Darren says, trivia time. Darren, we don't need the trivia. Well, I mean, unless you want to provide it. Okay, it looks like you are. I was going to say, because we're just giving these codes away. Carolina, chain banger. If you want one of these codes, hit us. We'll make it happen. Darren says, how many games of the NBA Finals experience does everyone on both teams have combined before tonight?
How many games of NBA Finals experience does everyone on both teams?
I mean, is it some silly number like 0?
No, it's going to be a little more than that.
Does it have to be?
It doesn't have to be, but...
I mean, when's the last time the Suns were in the finals?
Never.
Okay. So obviously they could have played for another team. I mean, Barkley. Just kidding. Okay. Yeah. No. Good question. We'll let that one simmer for a minute.
So here's the deal. I'm gonna try a giveaway here.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So if you saw Nightbot that said Darren LeMay won the giveaway, he didn't. I was just testing something.
Ouch.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I'm going to test something. If you're interested in the giveaway, I want you to type the word
Bucks.
Bucks. Good call. Bucks.
BUCKS. Bucks.
Bucks. And over the next minute or so, everyone that types the word Bucks, I will.
That's if they want one of these codes.
If they want one of these codes,
don't type it in if you don't want one of the codes.
Yes, if you don't want one of the codes, don't don't do this. And it doesn't matter how many times you type it in because it's only going to register once. So.
All right. Looks like you got some people that are getting up in it.
Yeah, we'll do that. Maybe I'll give away like. If it works, I'll give away 2 or 3 of them tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, Johnny. Eric, I saw your message earlier. Eric Party was at Clash, but his daughter Emma participating this upcoming weekend, or starting tomorrow, I should say, at the Junior Worlds. So best of luck to them. We appreciate it. Go get it. Matthew Gilbert said, was just finishing up at work. Quick plug. It's been a few weeks, so if you need any of my disc in a box shipping mailers, reach out. I continue to push out quite a few of them, and I'm going to be making a reorder soon, but I wanted to let everyone know that was also part of my little adventure. I headed down to Peoria last night, and big shout out to the Ledgestone crew, Jamie. I heart you, buddy. It was so good to see you. I'm not going to tell anyone about the Ledgestone goodies that I might have handpicked. They will not appear anywhere for sale anytime soon.
Until they go on sale
just
for
delicious goodies. But in all seriousness, thank you to the Ledgestone crew over there. Nate Heinold's mom graciously providing me with a cupcake for my travels. Couldn't complain about that one bit. So, Molly, thanks for the cupcake.
Darren LeMay says the answer is 6. Jay Crowder played for the Heat, who lost last year in 6 games. He's the only player on either team to have an NBA Finals game before tonight.
That's exciting.
That is kind of cool.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to hit this roll button, and we're going to see who is all eligible.
Did it automatically pick your winners?
It should automatically pick a winner here. So I'm going to hit it. We're going to see what happens. If it's Darren LeMay, I'm going to tell him he can't win again. I'm just kidding.
Just kidding, Aaron.
Let's hit roll.
Yeah, let's roll with it.
Looks like Carolina Chainbanger.
Well, I know wanted one.
He wanted one. He won one. Carolina Chainbanger, reach out to me on email.
I think you should just give one to everyone that said their name. That put bucks in.
I don't have that many codes. I have 5 for Android and 5 for iOS. So Carolina Chainbanger, please reach out to me via email, john@smashbox.tv. I will send you a code. And let me know what your preferred phone is, because I've got some Android and iOS ones. So let's give away another one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Roll it.
Before Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton get
Eric Party.
unmarried. Eric
Party.
There you go, Eric. Send me a message, buddy, because I know you already got me on the Facebooks.
Oh, he's already got on the Facebooks. And we'll do one more.
Oh, let me see if I can get some.
Webb Warren.
Hey, Webb out of Florida.
Webb Warren. Congratulations, Webb. You can reach out to me or Terry, and I'll make sure that we give you these apps. So, once again, this is the... Oh my gosh, excuse me. This is the Practice Putt Disc Golf and Practice Putt Disc Golf Pro, available for Android and iOS. So I got some free codes here. We'll make sure that they get used, and I'll figure out. Maybe I'll give some more away next week as well. I'll figure out how many we have, because if all 3 of them use Apple ones, then I only have 2 Apple left, and I'll have 5 Android left. So got to make sure we spread it out. So this way we can kind of do that. And I know all 3 of those guys need putting practice. So I've never seen any of them play, but I'm just assuming they all need putting practice.
All right. Awesome. Wow. Scott reached out. Already needs a set of bags, or boxes, I should say, and some bags that I offer. So thanks, Scott. We'll get those out to you tomorrow before I head off. What was Conrad's score on the final 14 holes of Worlds, including the playoff?
I don't know.
10 under?
Sounds about right.
I didn't watch it. I didn't pay attention until just a couple holes left. I was out running around doing other stuff. If I'm being honest about it. Yeah, I'm guessing it was pretty good. I had some. Oh, nah, we'll skip that. I don't think I have anything else. I think we can call it. I think we've had a great night. I hope you guys have been at least mildly entertained.
Some good interviews tonight.
Darren said he was 11 under. So nice work, Conrad. It's like you wanted to win. Greedy. So picking up all those birdies. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun tonight, guys. We really enjoyed having Kristen Tatar on the regular show, along with Dan Schlitter, just two upstanding, incredible humans, and looking forward to seeing Kristen, along with the other Estonians, continue through their U.S. tour here over the next few weeks. And Dan may not be on a U.S. tour, but it sounds like he's doing good things on the home front and regionally whenever he gets a chance. And we couldn't be happier to have all of them joining us tonight. So we're going to call it. I'll think about something clever as soon as we end the show, but that's how it goes. So for Johnny V, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, this has been Smashbox TV Podcast 358. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I enjoyed seeing so many of you down at Gray Fox over the weekend. Thanks for all the support. We truly, truly appreciate it. We'll see you next week when you step inside the Smashbox.